And this one doesn't give a countdown, does it? No, it just goes live right away. It's like funny because I'm used to Restream.
Yeah.
Restream will turn around and end up giving you a countdown. Well, we're going live now. We're live now.
Yeah.
But usually Restream will give you a countdown. It'll say like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You know, then you're like, then it goes, the screen blinks and it means, you're on.
Yeah.
Everybody can see you.
Like today, I was just looking at graphic tees, and I guess below Five Below has graphic tees for $5.55, and I saw two of them that just fit my personality. One said flea markets because I love going to flea markets, and the other one said groovy. So I guess it was like but you know the thing was,
hey Z-Mick,
it was cheap. I like cheap shirts.
I mean, the thing is, I don't even remember what was the name of the company that we went to, that we were going to for your shirts. I don't even remember what the name of the company was. Hey, Cameron.
I don't know, but
I gotta go back and check that.
My dad was talking about it. My dad goes, why don't you have a shirt with your own channel name on it? I said to him, I'm thinking about it. I go, but some of them want like 40 or close to $40. And I said, my dad goes, well, you know, he goes, I know 4 people who would wear it. And I go, who? He goes, the person you're with, you, me, and Mom. I was like,
well, I mean, the thing is that I think that, oh, damn, I hit the other freaking thing. Ouch.
I should start an online store. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because there's a way you can do it with the online store where you go ahead and they can like
Shopify.
Yeah, so they're like the go-between and stuff like that. So you just go ahead and have them I keep on hitting this thing with my hand. I have like a whole nother thing here with another mic because it's supposed to be for like another person to be here.
My world. One time,
you're like, hello, another mic.
One time I was like, what was it? I was walking into the kitchen and I hit everybody does it, hit their knee against the counter.
Hey, Trish. You hit your knee against the counter and
I got a bruise because I hit it too hard. Yeah, that bruise went away though, but
simplistic things. But no, but what I was saying was like, you know, with the t-shirts, it's like I remember I made it at one of those companies where when I initially made your t-shirt design. Well, you have the site already? I forgot how much it was. I don't know if it was like, I think they had it arranged where you could go ahead and you could put a link.
Yeah.
And with a link, people could go ahead and you could make the style. It would be on their server and people could just go ahead and order it straight from them. But how much was it per shirt?
I don't know. Let me go see because I have all the emails you sent me. I've never deleted any emails you sent me. I know.
Because I was just wondering like how much it was per shirt.
Let me see. Okay. Oh no, that's that video you sent me. You remember you made me the intros?
Yeah.
I used them for a bit, and then I kind of, switched phones. So so I have the intros here. Let me see. Dang, I got an email from 2017 when I bought a record that I still saved. Yeah,
I have a thing with like deleting emails too because I'm like a complete hoarder when it comes to emails and also when it comes to like audio cables and stuff like that. I'm like totally horrible with that because I just have this feeling that the moment I get rid of it, I'm gonna need it.
I have an email here from 2013.
But it's like nothing else. I'm not a hoarder. As you can see, I'm not like a hoarder. I don't, I'm not into clutter.
Only thing I've been doing lately is buying a lot of graphic shirts. So I'm probably going to I've been buying a lot of graphic shirts because I used to buy a lot of graphic shirts back in the day from this website called Threadless. And they used to have really good stuff because they had artists that actually created really good shirts. So I used to buy a lot of my shirts from there. And now Threadless is gone downhill. The graphics on there created by the artists are not even that good anymore.
Okay,
bummer.
I thought that I had saved the picture on here.
Oh, I got it here. I'll send it to you. I'll put the link. I'll wait.
Well, no, I have the pictures of the shirt. It's just I don't have the pictures of the.
Wait, I got it here. Let me. Because I don't delete any of your emails. I mean, I delete everybody else's emails. Oh, I think this is the one. Here we go. I'll send you this link.
Uh-huh.
It's Rush Order Tees.
Rush order tees. Okay. Well, I guess what you basically would have to do is go ahead and like set it up on there, and then people can go ahead and just order it.
Well, because they were telling me there's other ways to, because I was looking at YouTubers and what they use to sell their merch. And I was
still
thinking,
have the design there?
Yeah, the design is still there. You made it. I'm like, not. Oh, it says Mute Groovy Lisa.
Yeah. It was the Mute Groovy Lisa shirt. I'm like,
no, people actually want that. I had people that actually want it.
Hey, Greg, man.
Hey, Greg, man.
I know there was a lot of people that turned around and said that they wanted that, but it was like, well, let's go ahead and change it, and we'll just go ahead and like do the Groovy Lisa thing. I was like, instead of just.
Let's be honest. Nobody wants a Mute Groovy Lisa shirt. They're just being nice to me. Just being nice. They feel for
no, they want a Groovy Lisa shirt. They probably don't want the Mute Groovy Lisa shirt.
No, although people want it.
Although we probably end up having to pay a little gratuity there to Vinyl Richie because that was his saying.
Yep.
Vinyl Richie was the one who started that. But can you mute Groovy Lisa, please?
and then Randy said that they should put a muzzle on me.
Yes. Well.
Oh, the men of the vinyl community.
I swear, you're both loved and hated. You're loved and hated at the same time. It's like funny because
yeah, it is.
It's like funny because like people are like they turn around and they like act like they hate you, but then if somebody fucks you, they're like, I don't fuck with our Groovy Lisa. It's like, but then again, you irritate them, but then they're just like, you don't fuck with our Lisa.
No, because they know about me and they know who I am, and they don't. Hello.
What is up, Paulina? Let me go ahead and send out a link in case she decides she wants to come up.
If you think about it, everybody here has people that loves and hates them. Nobody is 100% loved by people.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I mean, occasionally on Instagram, I'll be honest with you, on Instagram, occasionally I'll get men that will come into my DMs and they'll be like, hey, I've been wanting to be with you for a while. You're so beautiful. And I look at their profile and you could tell they took the pictures from someone's Facebook profile. And I was like, are you trying to catfish me? And they're like, can you send me $200 in my PayPal? And I'm like, nope, block.
Nigerian scammers are trying to get you to like pay that money out. Did you hear about James Hetfield?
No.
James Hetfield from Metallica tested positive for COVID-19.
Oh.
They're having to cancel all shows for just the next 4 days.
Oh.
That's all they're going to give him, I guess. I don't know when. It doesn't really say when he tested positive, but they're saying that he tested positive. So, okay, there's Paulina. Hey, what's up, Paulina?
Yes, it's a very, very complex kind of thing, Sometimes I get so blue. People say I'm cool, but all the world, even you, should learn to love the way I do.
You know what, Trish? I think everybody here is already subbed. I think all these people are subbed.
I think everybody's subbed.
Wait a minute, am I subbed to Destiny? Let me see.
Yeah. I remember the first time he came into my stream, I promoted him because I was like, this guy's going to go places. Because I didn't know him at the time when he came into my stream.
I've gone really far, huh?
I had to look at your profile because I was not sure if you're a legit account. I looked at your profile and I saw you had videos, and I was like, okay.
You thought I was a troll account? You thought I was trying to troll you?
Well, I don't know, because, I've had trolls in the past. So I was like...
Yes.
But I saw you were a legit account. I was like, okay, this guy's legit. He's 100% bueno.
Yeah, so... that is showing you right there. It's like with the whole Metallica thing, it's like James Hetfield, he tests positive for COVID-19. It says 1 day from the news desk. So I'm thinking that was either today or yesterday. And they're already talking about they're going to go ahead and they're going to go ahead and start up again on September 9th. They're only giving it a few days now.
I got my mask. I should bring out my mask that I wear.
Oh, you got a new mask just in case?
No. This is my OG mask. My OG mask.
I was like, I almost had a heart attack. I thought that like she was only in her underwear. I'm like, oh no, here we go. Here's another freaking. She just started a whole another. Oh, there you go. That's the OG one.
That's the mask I wear the most. That's my BTS mask.
Wow, that one. Why do you look like Sub-Zero when you put that mask on? That mask is just so like bulky.
Well, you know that this mask, I bought it at Daiso.
Come over
Oh, really?
here.
Yeah.
She's like, she's all like Bane. She's all, yes, I heard. I'm going to make sure
I should probably
that they
change
don't get the COVID like everyone else.
I should probably change the mask that's in here to a new one.
This is I am the mastermind of the Venom community. Yes, I am.
Win.
I also had a Ryakumo one, but I lost that one. The Ryakumo one.
Frog, how you doing, Dave?
I love
You missed it.
Sub-Zero.
We were talking about Lisa's Bane mask. You know, she has for COVID. So, I refuse to get the COVID. I wear my mask.
You know, I think I might have got it in 2020, but don't remember.
One day, I will take over the vinyl community. Yes, I will.
For those of you who don't know who Sub-Zero is, Sub-Zero is from Mortal Kombat.
You play Mortal Kombat?
Yes,
Do you play Mortal Kombat?
Yes, I played Mortal Kombat religiously.
If nobody doesn't
So I
know
guess
what
that-
Sub-Zero is, then they totally lose credibility to me.
Well, but think about it, Pauline. There are some kids who weren't around when Mortal Kombat first came out. They were not born, so they don't know that.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
a cutoff date. There's a cutoff on that. Like, you know, if you're not if you're born before 1994 and you don't know who Sub-Zero Mortal Kombat is, then yeah, I feel sorry for you.
Well, what
Anybody
brother
after
did right.
1994, then you're safe.
No, my brother
Sub-Zero's a really
in
cool guy.
1994, my brother was like 4 years old, I think. So he didn't play it until he was the late 90s because he was born in 89. So my brother probably wouldn't have known.
Mm-hmm.
So
I remember when it first came out, like in 92 or 93 when it first came out, and it was at all the arcades. I used to go to golf and stuff, which is over here in Downey.
Yeah.
Well, you know that's over by Los Angeles County or whatever. And I used to go there and play it. And I swear to God, man, all those little Asian kids would come up and they would just whoop on my ass. You know, I'd be sitting there playing and be like, can I join? They'd put the quarter up. Can I join? Yeah, sure, jump in. They'd be like, you're done. Huh? It probably was. I don't know. Let me take a close look here.
Because, you know, when I've had... Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what? I played a lot of Marvel vs. Capcom. I played all of the Mortal Kombat. I played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Hey, Royce.
The original Mario Brothers. I used to play that.
Hey, Vinyl Kicks. Vinyl Kicks and Royce are in the house. Yeah,
you ever played that one game?
Mm-hmm. Which game? Yeah, that one game I played lots of times. What was that one game?
Marvel
you ever play that one
Capcom.
Game? Oh, man, yeah. I had it on. I had a Dreamcast, so it's like I had, and also when I was like younger, I had like, and this is like right before I had my kids. I had like all these gaming systems. I had like the Neo Geo, I had Super Nintendo, I had Sega Genesis, I had the Radio, I had the Jaguar, I had all the systems, you know stuff like that. And
I had the Atari. Used to play Frogger, Pac-Man, Asteroid. Yeah, we had an Atari for a while. That was pretty fun, but then one day my dad gave it away.
It's where they filmed the dating scenes for Karate Kid. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, I remember when I first bought the 3DO. It was made by Panasonic, and people thought it was going to be the first like major multimedia piece of equipment. It was before the DVD player, so you got to think this is like years before the DVD actually came out. And I remember that we used to have people that would come over from Japan, and they would bring us sample software. And the sample software basically had a lot of like softcore porn. And that was the first time I had ever heard. And I said it in the stream, I think the other night when we were talking about something. I said that most technology becoming popular or actually making it has to do with its relation to porn.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember the only reason why I said that is because a long time ago I had a Japanese businessman tell me when he gave me these discs, he's all, yes, the 3DO can play these video discs, and these are, you know, blue films, as he called them, you know, for it. He's all, the success of any, you know, product, you know, depends on its relationship to porn. He's all, especially in Japan. And I was like, oh, okay.
So Ron Jeremy.
No, it wasn't like Ron Jeremy. It wasn't like hardcore porn. It was just like, chicks like, ooh, a little bit of boob, a little bit of nipple, a little bit of underwears. Yeah, it was softcore. It was like
it makes
Cinemax.
Sense. It makes perfect sense that, like, especially with the invention of the videotape.
Yeah.
It was basically meant to spread, like, sell porn to people and stuff like that. And then that translated into, like, into, like, DVDs when DVDs came out, and then when Blu-ray came out, and then even when something like an interface to make something like YouTube possible. Then that became like the whole new medium right there.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, I wonder if the internet, of course, probably would have been as popular as it is, but I wonder if the internet got an extra boost from having such a strong relation to porn, because now if you think about it, it had to have killed the porn business, because I really don't know of many people who go out and physically buy porn. It's like, why would you go buy porn? Or why would, and I'm like thinking, actually paying for porn sites has got to be like out of style now too. No. Because it's like any porn you want, you can get for free. You just pull out your phone. Just pull out your phone, you can get anything. So it's like, yeah, exactly. Oh God, Lisa, we're not going to go there.
Anyway, no, you can. I don't have to tell them; they know. I bet you Kicks knows all the websites.
Why is it? I just always feel maybe it's this little bit of misogynistic jelly in me, but like when a woman starts talking about like liking porn, I'm kind of like,
I don't know. If you tried being single for 10 years like I was, you had to have, some way to do things.
Okay, even Greg Man saying, "Bless you, Lisa. Bless you, Lisa."
People ask me why I was single for 10 years. I was like, because that was by choice.
It was by choice. Well, there are weirdos out there.
It's like human nature. It's like, everybody has their needs. Whether if you're male or female, you have your needs.
Oh yeah,
and so
I know.
You need some way to,
Why? Tell them that it's human nature.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you doing there, Bon?
We all have our things that we're interested in, but my main thing is I go through my periods of things that, I'm really fascinated by. Like right now it's graphic t-shirts. Next month it'll probably be architecture again. I go through
you have Asperger's, but the thing that I didn't fully understand is I had always thought when you have Asperger's syndrome that you had one particular thing. This is probably my ignorance speaking, but that you had one particular thing that you were into for life. Yeah, like that music was your thing for life.
Music's always been my thing for life. Music.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's your consistent, but you have all kinds of other things where it's like you like your seasonal on things. I guess seasonal, like you'd be like, I'm really into like corn tortillas this week. I know everything about corn tortillas. I know how they make them. I know how they grind them. I know, and then like in a couple of weeks you'll be over it. You'll be like,
I mean, like for a month I was watching tiny house videos, so I learned everything about tiny. Yeah.
Doing all right, sipping coffee and thinking about throwing a game on. Pretty sweet. I haven't actually sat down and play a whole game in like a long time. I really need to. I need to get myself a PS5.
The last time I played a game was time I played a game on PlayStation was Kingdom Hearts, and that was Kingdom Hearts 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's been a while.
DJ Trish said at my age being single is okay after being brokenhearted so many times.
I feel ya, DJ. I feel you. In the past, that happened to me. You did.
She wants to live the rest of her days in peace, not having to deal with a man. Yeah. She's like, "Oh, no lover." Oh, never mind. No lover, no cry. It's supposed to be no woman, no cry, but I modified it.
Scrub as a guy can't get no love from me.
So, yeah, I mean, I just find that totally crazy. It's like, that he goes ahead and he tests positive for COVID-19 and they're just like, blow through it. They're like, on the 9th, they're going to get you back up there to hell with it.
Well, if I go to a concert, I'm definitely going to wear a mask because I'm not going to risk my chances at a concert.
Well, like he said in the interview, he was like saying he's all, well, it was going to be a matter of time before I got it. He's like, you got to think about it. He's all, we're playing every weekend. We're playing Friday and Saturday. And he's all, with the amount of crowds that we're drawing, he's all, that's a festival every freaking Friday and Saturday. Yeah. So he's all, it's bound to get us. It's so, with it rising and stuff like that. But stuff like that. What did Hop Frog say here? Hop Frog said, anyone go all in on a new hobby only to lose interest in a couple of weeks? I bought some big Bob Ross DVDs. No, I was tempted. I have done that.
I'll give you I've done that. I tried to get into knitting. I only lasted a week and then I gave up on knitting. But I tried knitting.
The thing that I'm starting to think is I really think that I have undiagnosed ADHD. And the reason because like when it comes to movies and stuff like that, I've noticed like I'll end up watching movies in pieces sometimes. Like if the movie doesn't really hold my attention, and like I'll watch half of it and then I'll go back and watch the other half. But it's like sometimes I won't fully sit through the whole movie. And it's like before I used to use the excuse, oh well, I've got kids and I'm always running through the house and blah blah blah. But now it's like my kids are older and they're like not even around half the time. I still do the same thing.
Like, for me, it's like I can't sometimes if I'm in a place I can't sit down in a place for like a certain amount of time. And I can't, my attention span in movies, like some movies will bore me and I'll watch like 10 minutes of it and then I'll turn it off and then I'll continue and watch another 10 minutes. And I've tried 5 times to watch Breaking Bad and I just can't get into it. I just can't.
Falling in love and is fun. It's great. But when your heart's broken heart, it's like never again.
You know what, DJ Trish? Someday, someday, you might find something. You never know.
There you go. Get one of those giant hamster balls, Lisa. You'll be safe from COVID and the fellow concert goers will float you along.
So I should be like Bubble Boy.
There you go, Bubble Boy. And call everybody Vato.
Yeah.
Vato.
Just like Bubble Boy. You'd be like, oh, what's up, Vato?
I need
How
like
you doing, Vato?
I need like an accent because I sound white when I say it. Hey, Vato.
You are completely right, Trish. They say that actually being heartbroken can actually develop into physical ailments.
It can. My grandma passed away at 69, and then my grandpa passed away at 70. They passed away within a year of each other. They loved each other so much. It happened.
Hey, Eddie.
Hey, Greg, man. Hey, Eddie. What's up? Greg, man said, I've been watching the $6 Million Man. That show was and is really good. I remember that my kid's mother thought it was really hilarious when I turned around and I had hurt myself and I was sitting on the couch for a long time. I had to sit on the couch for at least a week. And every time I would get up, she would make these stupid freaking TikToks or Snapchats where it would have the sound effect in the background. Every time I got up, it would go. She's like, oh, it's getting up. I did not find it amusing, but whatever.
Well, people do crazy things.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I watch it in pieces. Hello, Lisa, Paulina, Dusty. What's up, Eddie?
I've never been diagnosed with ADHD,
Vato
but
and Ruka.
I've been diagnosed with other things, so.
Been there before. I'm just a happier person when single.
I was misdiagnosed with ADD, and I didn't have it. And so,
Vato.
It took me like a couple years just to trust my father again because he's the one that was sending me to these doctors telling me that I have ADD when I didn't have it.
No, my doctor said I just have general anxiety, I have depression, Asperger's, and that's it, and learning disability.
But, I mean, you got to forgive your father. Your father thought he was doing what was the right thing, was getting you, completely checked. And, and he trusted the doctors, their diagnosis, because he probably figured they're doctors. They know better than I do.
Yeah, but the whole thing really fucked me up in the end because one of the things that they were putting on was called Siler. And Siler was sort of like the 90s version of Valium.
Uh-huh.
I was on that from 1989 all the way to 1999 for basically 10 years. And the thing was, I remember in 99, I was telling my dad, you know what? I don't really want to be on this shit anymore. I don't know what it does for me or anything. And so I'm gonna stop it. I'm sick and tired of taking things that I don't feel I need. That was a big mistake because I should have weaned myself off of it instead of going cold turkey. Because the thing that happened to me was the same thing that happened to Andy Partridge. If you saw the documentary that I put up, his wife threw away his Valium, and he was like, "Okay, get rid of it. I don't think I need it anymore. It doesn't give me a high. It doesn't do anything. Great." And then the consequence of doing that is that you do go through a brain melt. And what happened to me was, I just remember being in school, and I had to go and do something because I was part of some type of student government thing at school. And so I just remember getting out of my desk, and then after that was a blur. After that, I just remember waking up in my bed. Apparently, and they said, like, you know, you between two desks in class.
Well, that's scary.
And a couple of students had to walk you to the nurse's office, and I was like, "Well, how did I get home?" And then I talked to the nurse who I knew, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I called your dad, and he picked you up, you know." And so he probably took me into my room and stuff, and I just I was out for a week. I was in such a bad way for about a week, and after that, that's when everything started to go wrong with me. I was like, I got anxiety too. I got anxiety. A lot of some type of seizures happening and stuff, and I had like a rough senior year, and so it was like a terrible thing to go through.
Let me see. Roy said, "My wife diagnosed me as deaf. I've been diagnosed as deaf by many women because I have selective hearing."
Most men
I have lots of exes
selective.
who would say it.
Most men have selective hearing.
So, Hot Frog, I have never been officially diagnosed with ADHD, but the proof is, hey, did I ever tell you about the time, hey, I need to clean some records? There you go. Yeah, detox from meds cold turkey is very dangerous. Yes, yes. Especially me, when I first got diagnosed with anxiety, of course, you know, the first thing they want to do is they want to dope you up.
Yep.
And they tried giving me Xanax. And then they turned around and told me, okay, we're going to put you on Xanax, you know, because I was having really bad panic attacks where I couldn't breathe stuff. Put me on Xanax, you know, whole thing, like I said, Millennium Falcon come out at warp speed, you know. Doctor's kind of looking at me like freaking Chong, you know. He's like, you feel all right, don't you? And I was like, yeah, you know. But, you know, after a while, they're like, okay, now they said this is habit forming. It's addictive. We've got to take you off it. And they took me off it like cold turkey. They're just like, nope, no more. Let me see. I was on Ritalin as a young kid. My stepmom got me off of it. The nightmares I had would have given Freddy Krueger nightmares. Damn. Have you ever seen the meme where it's this guy who's wearing a sweater, like a Freddy Krueger sweater, and he's got these old Dickies on, and he just like looks all depressed, and he's sitting on the bus, and it's like, oh, Freddy Krueger after he's been going through your dreams for a couple of days. And it's like Freddy Krueger on the bus, all like, oh God, like fuck my life. Edward's in the house. Let me see. It's a built-in filter. It's selective hearing. It's definitely selective hearing. It's like, you know, you end up not hearing what you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
Now, also in today's news, I guess Brian May came out and he said he was talking about the rise of artificial intelligence. Oh. Brian May, I don't know, man. So I'm telling you, not all of him came back, because he's like saying that he thinks by this time next year, he thinks the whole musical industry is going to be completely different. He thinks that computers are going to take over. And I'm like, really? He said the 76-year-old rock star, who is best known as part of Queen, believes that by 2024, the entire structure of the industry will be completely different, as artificial intelligence could mean that this year is the last one that the music scene will be dominated by human beings. Okay, so that means he's going to reform Queen with the real Freddie Mercury now? AI machine Freddie Mercury? You know, because if you think about it, man, it's like you can bring all these dead rock stars back and let them live in the computer and just like keep releasing albums, you you just go ahead and type in what you want them to say, like, you are a fucking asshole. It's like being sung by like John Lennon or something, you know?
Yeah, 30 years later, you got David Bowie.
Yeah, but it's kind of scary because there's a lot of things that we end up looking at now. We end up going, no, that wouldn't be possible. That wouldn't happen. But who's to know if, like, maybe 20 years, 30 years from now, as, you know, society gets even more dumbed down and more stupid, they aren't going out buying CDs like the latest by David Bowie. You know, it's like
it doesn't matter.
His voice on a computer generated, you know, whatever.
David Bowie passed away, but they're still doing RSD releases.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, well, they could start making more material. It's like it wouldn't matter. They could keep on making material.
Michael Jackson.
I like the Rick and Morty episode with Scary Terry.
Bitch.
Oh, there you go. Hey, Laura, how you doing? Where you been? Oh, it's Lewis. He's in here. Speaking of, Lewis, we gotta say it because he's the one who's the big Morrissey fan. I've got to say it, and I'm pretty sure he's going to end up giving it a comment. See this chick up in the corner? Though, she just turned off her cam. She bought a One Direction album before she bought a Smiths album. Get her, Lewis. Get her. I'm gonna get her. You see, poor Brian May, Parkinson's a bitch. That's right. He does have Parkinson's, doesn't he?
No, he doesn't. Does he?
He does?
I think so. Parkinson's a bitch.
Wow.
No, I think he had a heart attack.
Are we thinking of Ozzy Osbourne? I know that Ozzy Osbourne has Parkinson's, right?
Yeah. I now got to know.
We saw that coming a mile away. If you see the first season of the Osbournes, it was like, yeah, this guy is...
Oh, he does. He does.
Jimi Hendrix put out more records after he passed than when he was alive.
Oh, wait, never mind. Wrong person. Brian May has Parkinson's disease. It doesn't say anything here about it. It would be all over the news.
Nice that you got home nice and safe, Laura. Sweet. You're not living in the same state anymore, are you? Because when she moved.
Ozzy
Ozzy
has Parkinson's. I know that Michael J. Fox has had it since 29.
So, Brian May had said he is quoted by the Daily Star. Oh, well, it's the Daily Star. Shit. Okay, Daily Star is not very reputable, but whatever. It says, Daily Star's Wired column as saying, I think by this time next year, the landscape will be completely different. We won't know which way is up. We won't know what's been created by AI and what's been created by humans. Everything is going to get very blurred and very confusing, and I think we might look back on 2023 as the last year when humans really dominated the music scene. I really think it could be that serious, and that doesn't fill me with joy. It makes me feel apprehensive. Now, the thing I think is stupid about that is he's saying we won't know which way is up. We'll know because if we see a new album by David Bowie, he's fucking dead. You know, that tells us, you know, it's not going to be like, is David Bowie still, you know, come on now, we're going to know which way is up. You know, but what I do end up seeing happening is I don't see it happening right away where we're going to get full-on albums. I think we are going to consistently start getting singles from Dead Stars. I can see that happening. Like they're going to test the waters and keep sticking their toe in it to see how the public reacts. You know, like there'll be a single from Prince or there'll be a single from Michael Jackson or a single from so-and-so. Just one single. Just, you know, let's see how the people like react to it, you know. And if the people start buying it up, they go, well, you know, they don't start with we have all these lyrics that he wrote, which we could feed into a computer and it'd be just like he was still alive. You know, they did the shit with the holograms.
The thing about all of that is that, they could go out and do that. But the thing is, any respectable fan of these bands and singers will know we would not consider it canon. If they tried to put something out like of John Lennon using some words that he never used before and try to create a song with it, we know that song is not canon because
we know it's not. We know it's not John Lennon.
It's not really his. He didn't step into like the Hit Factory or Power Station to record that stuff during the last year of his life, you know. But
is it safe to say?
We would never really consider it to be a canon kind of.
No. But I mean, is it safe to say if they were to do something, say from like John Lennon or David Bowie, a very, very like, I guess, how do I explain it? Like a fan who has to be a completist would probably buy it just for the sheer heck of, I need to have it. Because there's fans out there that'll buy everything.
I would never.
You wouldn't.
Well, there's fans out there that'll buy everything. I mean, there's fans out there that'll buy the same album twice, like, you know, One Direction. You know, so it's like, there's fans out there that will buy anything.
You want me to bring out I'll bring out the album question.
No, we're okay. No,
still buy that.
No, we're okay. We're good. Okay, we're good, Lisa. We're good.
You gonna bring that up. You're gonna, he's gonna be like, he's gonna call me in the middle of the night. He's gonna be like, "Did you buy the Smith?" I'll be like, "No."
Like we end up having Partridge Family records that we end up pulling up whenever Tim brings one. I think we need to keep a Smiths album nearby. Every time Lisa says something that relates to something like that, we bring up the Smiths record.
I'm gonna bring
most
out
definitely. I'm telling you, most definitely. I'm telling you that's something we need to do. Every time she has to bring up something like that, we need to bring up the Smiths record.
See, your friend
Simple as that.
didn't even have anything bad to say about me.
I know he didn't. You know who did? Morrissey. He's still staring at you. He's looking at you judgingly. He's judging you. Look at that face. He's judging you. He's just like, that is not a kind face. He's just like, why, Lisa? Why did you buy the One Direction? Harry Styles, why?
Because I love Harry Styles more than Morrissey. Harry Styles got Album of the Year in 2022.
Yeah.
Love.
But like Eddie said, most artists do. They have so much unreleased songs in their vaults. But the thing is, where can they be sneaky also on that, Eddie, and turn around and like release other songs that are AI and say that they were in the vaults too? Oh, I'm all being conspiracy theory here. So I need to stop. But I've been listening to Al AI Karen Carpenter, and it sounds exactly like her. It's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They've been doing that a lot with artists. Like there's a whole
Michael
like
Jackson
YouTube.
Ones are good.
There's a whole YouTube page that's just dedicated to Beatles AI. And, there's some of them that sound shitty, but there's some where you're kind of like, makes me do the dog thing about.
The best one that they did, that was Beatles, it's a song that Paul recorded in '87 that he never released. It was called Return to Pepperland.
Mm-hmm.
And someone did an AI thing where it was him doing the vocals, but then they took elements from Lovely Rita and put it into the song. And it actually sounds like it could have been a Beatles song back in '87. It had John still been with us. It had that kind of, it would have blown out of the water when we was Fab, which I was never a fan of that song anyway.
What, did Robert Smith just enter the chat? It says, go eat a burger, Steven.
I saw a Smiths cover band. 1 second.
Uh-oh, they're knocking on your door. Her boyfriend's there. But anyways, no, I remember one time, I guess, Morrissey and Robert Smith had this thing going back and forth where they were talking shit to each other. Robert Smith was saying, I like my burgers, especially with onions and mustard and blah, 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 just like talking bad. So Morrissey would like shut his mouth about being vegan. Or is he vegan, or is he just like, is he vegan?
He's vegan.
He's vegan. Okay. I was like going, is he vegan, or is he just like, there goes my brain farting again. Vegetarian. There you go.
It smells like bunny flesh. I hope it's human.
It smells like burning flesh. Oh man, I remember one time at the Weenie Roast.
When he said that, I was like, what the fuck?
It was like so funny. Is back in 1994 at the K-Rock Weenie Roast, Chrissy Hine and the Pretenders played, and she came out and she did this whole speech against how it was the K-Rock Weenie Roast, it was a barbecue and all this stuff, and how she was against meat eating and blah blah blah. And then she started playing, and then everybody just started throwing hot dogs at her. Second time I saw people throw hot dogs are fucking expensive, so I'm like, what the fuck are you throwing hot dogs for? Second time I saw an artist get hot dogs thrown at them at Irvine Meadows Amphitheater. First time, Bjork, they threw fucking hot dogs at her at her too. She opened up for weirdest fucking tour ever. It was PIL, Gene Loves Jezebel, New Order, and the Sugar Cubes. Don't know what the hell she was doing there, but it was her first time in the United States, and they just like threw freaking hot dogs at her. So,
well,
very American.
Well, what kind of hot dogs was it? Was it like Bar Ass? Was it Nathan's? Was it Oscar Mayer?
It would have to be.
Then that's okay. We could afford Bar Ass.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'll throw a fucking Bar Ass. Hebrew National, Nathan's?
Mm-mm. No.
Nope.
Yeah. McFrank's. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't throw Nathan's. We don't throw freaking Hebrew National, but Bar S, we'll throw that shit. Not worried about it.
Yeah.
Bar S, we'll throw that shit. Harry Styles, where's his mother shirt? Harry Styles wears his mother's shirts. Oh, and his sister's jumper suits. The trash.
Does mother know you weareth her drapes?
Have you not heard meat is murder? I know it's murder. It's delicious murder.
To be
It's
or
murder
not
that
to
is
be.
delicious with A1 sauce.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
Sometimes I play it for the lads at work to torture them. Oh man, I remember it was a true sausage fest. Yeah, it was. It definitely. Harry Styles and Taylor Swift were seen fighting over a dress in the mall. I would not be surprised. Come on. I would not be surprised. So, haha, DJ Trish. Trish, I believe it. Bar S, fly farther.
Morrissey is a pussy.
You know why Bar S flies farther than Hebrew National and Nathan's? Because I don't think there's any real meat in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's all like, pig lips and peckers. I don't think it's any real like substantial meat.
I like ballpark franks.
Because they plump when you cook them. Morris is a coward has-been. My friend Lou is gonna have a heart attack right now. He is like a total Morrissey worshiper. Why he's gonna come back and he's like, no, I don't quite think so. Morrissey, blah, blah, blah. I don't think he's a coward has been. Yeah.
No,
I think he's that. I think that Morrissey is that artist who's like, he still thinks he's bigger than life, even though he isn't. You know, I think he still thinks that he's like 1993 Morrissey still, and it's 2023, and he's not that same guy anymore. You know,
time to go, Cookie, time to go home.
So Dusty, Cookie, time to go home. Cookie is home. He lives there.
Cookie, time to go into another room before you poop in here. Come on, Cookie.
Lisa, time to go to another room before you poop in here.
Dusty, go to another room before you poop in your living room.
Lisa, time to go to another room before you poop in here. I don't need you pooping on my channel.
Excuse me.
So, oops. Excuse. She.
Oh no, Cookie! No, Cookie! No.
What?
No, not in this room! Not in this room! Damn it, Cookie! I gotta mute myself.
And there it is, and it happens. Hot Frog said he isn't a coward; he's a vegan silly. You know something, Vital Kicks? Tell you the truth. This is my opinion, and opinions are like buttholes. Everyone has one, and they all stink. I think his most recent music is better than a lot of music that he's released over the years. Because, I mean, he released a lot of crap until recently. It's like the last couple albums I've actually been able to get into and listen to and like them. So Dave was like, no. That was Lisa right now. It was like slow motion. We couldn't see if her camera was off, but I'm sure Cookie was doing the squat, and then Lisa stopped slow motion. She's like, no. Slow motion, no. Also in the news, I guess they were saying that there's this big auction going on right now where they have like all of this Beatles memorabilia, and a lot of people are like starting to wonder whether or not it's questionable or not. The webpage is called Gotta Have Rock and Roll. It's called Gotta Have Rock and Roll. I mean, it's not Sotheby's. You would think that Sotheby's are one of these like major like reputable like auction houses would end up having it. Let me go ahead and share the screen here. But under recent auctions, I mean, they have like a bunch of like different Beatles stuff, different stuff. It's all rock and roll Americana. But they have like some stuff that's just like, you're like, wow. You know, they have stuff like this. Is Guns N' Roses, like, you know, his very first owned Les Paul. You know, the very first one he owned. They have that. You know, Slash's first jacket, Steven Adler's jacket, blah, blah, blah. But they have other stuff. Like, they have this. Like, how the hell did they get this? The Beatles' historic Ed Sullivan Show wall signed by all four with their hand-drawn self-caricatures. So this is basically taken off of the back studio.
How does Rockaway have that?
Yeah, it's the Ringo Starr. Of course, he drew a very interesting face up there. You know. George Harrison, very interesting face with a cigarette.
Hey, Mason. Want a Mason?
Uncle Paul McCartney. It says Uncle Paul McCartney. And then John Lennon drew a little fat man with an interesting little fat face. He's like, oh, that's Dusty Spins down there.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to hear like how they took that.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it's a piece of it's a piece of like, I guess maybe like wood paneling or something, maybe. So there was that. Yeah, but they have some things where I'm just kind of like, okay, like that John Lennon's like suit that he wore at the Carl Allen Awards. Okay, whatever. John Lennon, 1967, handwritten lyrics and studio notes for "Hello Goodbye." You know, it's estimated to get between $300,000 and $500,000. This was the one where I was kind of like, okay, $250,000 to $300,000. A pair of EMI BTR2 tape recording consoles used extensively by the Beatles at EMI Abbey Road Studios during the entire time they recorded there.
I doubt.
I'm like, wow, $300,000.
I wish I had the money to get those.
I was about to say, we can end up putting in, like what, 25, 30 grand a piece or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, we could get them. I don't know why, but you know, that would be the ultimate. Like, you could go on every Beatles freaking like, you know, live stream, and they'd be like, oh, well, blah blah blah, and be like, but do you have the BTR2 tape recording consoles from EMI? Guess who does? I do. You know, I do.
This is the thing where they recorded everything, like "Love Me Do," "Please Please Me," "She Loves You." Oh my God, she loves you.
Yeah, it all came through these. This was the other thing too. I was like going, okay, the Beatles' Abbey Road Studio loudspeakers, amplifiers to used on Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, the White Album, Abbey Road, and more, including Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. It's like, what? I mean, those cabinets look pretty beat up, but I mean, it's obvious they're there in the picture with them.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm just wondering because I've never heard of this. I've never heard of this freaking website before, so it's like I find it kind of questionable or whatever. Oh, like this Beatles White Album number 5, extremely low number, Capitol Records president Stanley Gordikov's copy, who signed the Beatles. It's going to go for $200,000, $250,000. Paul McCartney twice signed early 1958 original artwork with early handwritten working lyrics for Beatles Obla Di Obla Da. $250,000 to $500,000. Let me see here. John Lennon's 1967 owned and worn Sgt. Pepper's Neckerchef. Interesting. John Lennon owned and worn custom D.A. Milling suit from the Beatles A Hard Day's Night. $100,000 to $200,000. It's like, I don't know exactly. Like DJ Trish said, most of this stuff should probably be in a museum. It's like, what the hell is it doing, falling into the hands of private collectors? And where did all these pieces come from?
Yeah.
Inside the Beatles signed sale contract for Apple Records headquarters, likely last document signed as a group. Oh, look at this. The Beatles Please Please Me VJ Records archive, including Please Please Me master tapes and the first ever contract signed in America for the Beatles. 100 plus total items total. 0 bits so far. Minimum bid is $30,000. Estimated to get between $50,000 and $75,000.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's some like really crazy stuff in here. The Beatles, Derek Taylor, never before heard collection of lost Beatles recordings, including the 1967 Kenwood sessions and John Lennon private recordings. $50,000 to $150,000. This is all stuff that we will never own, you know. The Beatles, Paul McCartney owned and worn suit, Tussaud Museum, Providence. Don't know exactly what that means. The Beatles signed with the Beatles album, The Nicest in Existence. It has certification and is real. $50,000 to $75,000. 1963, George Harrison owned and worn stage jacket. $30,000 to $50,000. Okay, now. Paul McCartney signed... Okay, that's not an original. Here's one of his originals. Hofner bass.
Hell.
Yeah, it's signed by him for $15,000 to $20,000. Now, that seems more realistic. That's more in the wheelhouse. More in the wheelhouse.
There's somebody out there that'll buy it.
Oh, yeah. The Beatles' George Harrison handwritten and signed greeting card with surprising Nazi-related references, including Adolf Hitler sketch done by George Harrison. It's real, it says. $20,000 to $30,000. That is pretty interesting. To Steve, Happy Geburtstag, mein Freund. For Adolf, something to George, Olivia, and Donnie. Interesting. Interesting. Paul McCartney and John Lennon dual signed 1976 McLean music check. Outtake photographs for Abbey Road. Yeah. Outtake photo of vintage Ian McMillan color photograph artwork print used in the production of the Abbey Road. Well, the rear of it, the back of it. So, Hot Frog said they're not real. They had me bust out like 5 or 6 of those. He said, I actually signed all those. He's like, I actually signed all those. Test pressings. The Beatles' original Get Back acetate recording. The Beatles' original Abbey Road acetate recording. Beatles' original test pressing of the album with the Beatles. All going between $20,000 and $40,000. I don't know. It's just some of this is like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm just being like, kind of like, eh. It's kind of questionable.
Yeah, you wonder if it's actually really real or the
Gold records. Those are like always sought after Beatle collectors.
Yeah, $15,000 to $20,000 they're going for a piece, so that's not too bad. But the thing about gold records is that I know they're sought after, but there's always I think gold records there's always a pretty big like what do you call it? Amount of them made because they give them to everyone and their mother, you know, at the record company. So there's a lot of them made, and especially when an album goes gold, you know, they make them for the artist, for their mother, for their uncle, for the person who brought them a hamburger, for the person that they make it for everybody. Everybody gets one. I know that Richard Blade, he has a bunch of like, if you ever see him do like one of his like little videos or whatever, he has a whole wall behind him of like The Cure, Depeche Mode, all these bands that gave him gold records. You know, they all gave him gold records. I think in some way they can be kind of common. There you go. Yeah, they're like Super Bowl rings. A lot of people get them. Ringo Starr personally owned plaque presented to Ringo in Brentwood, California, 24th of August, 1964. What was it presented to him for? $15,000 to $20,000. Presented to Ringo Starr in appreciation of the Beatles' efforts on behalf of the Hemophilia Foundation of Southern California. Meet the Beatles Charity Garden Party, Brentwood, California, August 24th, 1964. Wow, gee, you can see how much that meant to Ringo that he just went ahead and, somebody take it, go ahead and like auction it off. Come on now, Ringo. That's not peace and love. You want to press me? You auction off a picture of your feet.
I was gonna say that right now. I was like, I need to sell this so that I could buy more film to take on my feet.
So there you go. So did Michael Fremmer sneak some stuff out of the vault? I would not be surprised. Would not be surprised. Who knows? Paperback writer, gold record. It's just like it goes on and on and on and on. Beatles' original 16 millimeter film of the 1964 historic Washington D.C. concert film, $5,000 to $7,500. Shea Stadium 60 millimeter concert film, $5,000 to $7,500. You know. Okay, now we're getting to Elvis Presley's own and worn brown leather boots. $8,000 to $12,000. See, now that's like something that's more like in a wheelhouse that like maybe someone like us could buy, you know, like $8,000 or $12,000. You know, it's it's expensive. And it's a big chunk of money, but I mean, to own something like that, if I was more into Elvis Presley. One time I remember on Pawn Stars, they had brought in like, I think it was one of like Elvis's jackets or something like that. They had brought in a jacket to him, and it was like, I think it's like totally funny when you see the guy from Pawn Stars. You can see like he's salivating, and you can see he's just like, oh my God, I want it. But he's trying to be like really cool about it and stuff like that. Oh, the best I can give you is blah, blah, blah. You know, and then when they're walking, we go, okay, well, I'll give you a blah, blah, blah. That's my final offer. You know, whatever. But usually only gives like a quarter of what it's worth. But usually when most of the rock memorabilia goes in there, you notice it goes straight to his home. You know, usually goes straight to his home. Wow, look at some of the gaudy jewelry that like Elvis used to wear. Elvis Presley owned and worn diamond and 14 karat gold ring, $10,000 to $20,000. Oh, really? Native American watch? So, oh, it goes with my jumpsuit. Excuse me. It goes with my jumpsuit. Mom, cover praise. What time is the alert on? What time is it? Whoa, watch out. Oh, look at these shoes. I wonder what size shoe he wore. I wonder if it would have it on here. Of course it wouldn't. Maybe he had little feet.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Turns out he had little feet. That would be kind of creepy, don't you think? Like if you wore the same size as Elvis and you like tried on his shoes. It'd be kind of like creepy. I'd be like, ooh. It's kind of creepy. That's different. Okay, against Senator Robert Kennedy. Benjamin Franklin signed important land grant document. Okay, and I guess the rest of this is like historical shit. But yeah, I thought that was pretty freaking interesting. I was like, what the fuck? I thought that was like interesting. I was like, because there was one where I guess this chick from the fan club had gone to when John and Yoko were in Amsterdam, and I guess they were doing the whole sit-in when they were in the bed and stuff like that, and this chick, I should probably read the story from here, but I'm gonna try and give you I'm gonna summarize it. She belonged to the fan club. And she was trying to get to the hotel, and she knew there wasn't really a way she was going to get in. She's like, oh, I really got to bullshit my way in here or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So she ends up pulling up, and she ends up like trying to like sneak into the elevator, And I guess the porter ends up pulling her and pulls her out, and she goes, wait, and she like turns around and does this thing where she goes, well, I am, I'm the head of the fan club for blah, 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 blah. And she does this whole spiel, and she's like shitting herself while she's doing it, but she's like trying to be real stern, blah, blah, blah. So the porter goes, okay, just a moment. And he goes upstairs to the 9th floor where, John Lennon and Yoko Ono were. And I guess he comes back down with some people that were handlers. And they're like, okay, get in the elevator. Let's go. John Lennon and Yoko said, yeah, bring her up. So she got to go up. So she ended up going up. She ends up sitting on the edge of the bed. And she's just like, oh, my God, it's John and Yoko. Blah. And they turn around and told her, okay, well, you can go ahead and ask us questions. Like, write them down on a piece of paper. We'll kind of do it like, teenagers do. We'll go ahead and write the answers down or whatever. So that paper ended up in this auction. She ended up having two where she was asking questions like asking John, like, well, how do you feel right now? He's all, I'm tired. I'm hungry. I want food or something like I want peace. I want food, something else. And he said, okay, do you still do drugs? He's all occasionally, I should try to get back to that. It was kind of funny. The answers they were getting. It's like he was answering, they were writing both. And I guess he wrote like in a black felt pen and Yoko wrote in a blue, like, ink pen or whatever. It was pretty funny what some of their answers were. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, there we go.
Walrus, I have yet to listen to it, and I'm afraid to listen to it.
Okay, here it goes. Truly fascinating and rare archive of material relating to John Lennon and Yoko Ono. Bed In for Peace, which took place at the Amsterdam Hilton Hotel, Amsterdam, Holland, between the 25th and 31st of March 1969. On the 20th of March 1969, John and Yoko married in Gibraltar. They traveled to Paris, blah, blah, blah. We know that whole story. To host the now famous Bed in Peace protest, news of the event traveled fast, and hundreds of journalists began to gather at the venue. Upon reading about the event in her attic bedroom in a small village named Ardenhout in Holland, a 16-year-old Dutch Beatles fan named Constance Vragesterhoor decided to head straight to Amsterdam Hilton Hotel on 26th of March. Blah, blah, blah. The whole story she ends up going through, blah, blah, blah. How she got in, and, John and Yoko pulled her up. But anyways, these were the questions. It said, will you please answer the questions? Because, whatever. And it said that John answered the questions, and he also put facial doodles of himself and Yoko. It says, do you both still use drugs? John's answer was occasionally. Are you going to make a second album with Yoko? John's answer, it's finished and it's out on May 2nd. Mm-hmm. What do you think at the moment? John's answer, I feel tired. I want peace and some food. So, you believe in reincarnation, isn't it? What do you think you'll be in an afterlife? John's answer, something nice. Groovy's answer, something nice. No, says, I will be with John again, is what she said. Do you really believe you can talk to Brian Epstein by means of whatever? I don't know the exact word, calling him up. John's answer, maybe I believe in everything until it is disproved. Okay, pretty decent answer. Yoko, is your film of John Smile coming in the cinemas of Holland? John's answer, yes, soon. Yoko's answer, no, she said, hope so. Why did you come to Amsterdam for your honeymoon trip? John's answer, because the youth of Amsterdam are hip and aware. John has also drawn 2 eyes and a nose after his answer. Yoko's answer, good vibration. She's all good electric bananas. There you go. What do you think of the Maharishi at this moment? John's answer, I like him and I still meditate. Now, you know, that was at the moment when he was like having the falling out with the Maharishi. You know, I know at that moment he was like not pleased with him. Why do you say, if you really said it, that people may say that you're the most awful couple of the world? You two look just lovely in those white pajamas. John's answer, it hurts when people are cruel, but I also feel sorry for them. And thank you. When is that live concert coming? Is it coming now? You had a kind of fight with George. John's answer, soon. It was only an argument. No, not a real fight. The press exaggerates, you know. What do you think Apple will do in the future? That could have went like sideways big time. John's answer, many things, records, films, etc. Will you please sign here, John and Yoko, sign in vintage pen in his self-portrait. But yeah, I thought that's what the hell is that?
Royce.
Great brownies for sale in Amsterdam. Definitely. I mean, well, we have great brownies here though now, Royce, because I mean it's like legal. So, but
Yeah.
That's where it originally came from. That's where it was originally from. So they have the original recipe.
Yes, definitely. I mean, the thing is that like I didn't know that, you know, the proper way to make pot brownies. And one time we had attempted at making pot brownies and I didn't get high. I just got a tummy ache because we just went and put the brownie in the mix. You know, we put the weed in the brownie mix and mixed it up and baked it. And that's not the way you do it. That you were supposed to actually put it like in a butter. And then you let the butter kind of like sit, and I'm not like ferment, but like you let it sit, I guess. So that's right. And then you use that butter in the mix for the brownies. And you make the brownies, and that's how you can actually get high off of it. And I didn't know that. And we went and we made like a bunch of pot brownies for Incubus, and it was horrible. We didn't get high at all, and we wasted a lot of weed. You know, so
Truthfully, I thought that's the way you made it too. I thought they just like you know take like the plant and just cut it up in pieces, and then you just mix it in with the batter. And
I've never made pot brownies. I've never made them before.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that you just went ahead and you cut it up and you put it in there and stuff. But no, like, no, you're supposed to put it in butter and you melt it in this and that.
Yeah. If you watch Shameless USA, Frank Gallagher's character is making pot brownies and he's melting the butter just to get it the right temperature.
Yeah, and the way that I learned was one of my son's friends taught me how to do it.
Always the young kids are on top of it.
You know, he turns around and I was like telling him because he was like, I got pot brownies. Blah, blah, and I was like, I've always wanted to make pot brownies. And this is at the time when my son was delivering weed. Yeah. So he would end up getting like a lot of weed for free. A lot of weed. So he was always giving me weed. I had a lot of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to make some pot brownies. I said, but you know what? The last time I made pot brownies, you know, I was telling his friend, I said, it came out horrible. We didn't get high. I just got sick. He's all, well, you probably didn't do it right. He's all, how'd you do it? And I said, well, we turned around, we made the mix, we put the weed in. He's like, no, that's not how you do it. He's like, you have to do the butter, blah, blah, blah. So he turns around and he goes, pull a couple of sticks of butter out of the refrigerator. I was like, okay. He's all, unsalted butter. And I was like, all right. So I took the unsalted butter out and he turned around and he took out our KitchenAid and he put the weed in it. Made the butter mixture, whatever. He's all, okay, now let that sit in the fridge overnight or whatever. And I was like, all right, he's all, now tomorrow you make the brownies, and instead of where it calls for butter or whatever, just put this in there, you know, and this will go ahead and do it. And sure enough, you know, I turned around and made the pot brownies, and the next day when he was over and I was making it, I turned around, I was going to grab a big old piece of brownies. He's all, no. He's all, cut that in half. He's all, you're going to get freaking high as shit, you know?
Yeah, my dad ate two of them. Because he was hungry. So he ate two of them. He sat in the car for like an hour and a half. He couldn't move at all. And he was paranoid. He's like, what are you doing, Lisa? Get out of here. He got all paranoid.
Lisa, you have a third eye. Lisa. Lisa.
And then my cousin.
What is Yoko Ono doing in my living room?
No, my cousin's gonna have.
Are you gonna sing to me?
Birthday party. My cousin's bringing me to his daughter's third birthday party. Yeah.
Lisa. Oh, it's like, I swear to God, that has to be like Lisa's ringtone.
Yep. No, you made my ringtone. You made my ringtone Pokemon.
Oh yeah, it's true.
You made my ringtone Pikachu. I was like thinking you were gonna make it some rare ass Pokemon, but
no. Whenever you text me, it goes Pikachu.
I mean, it's cute. Don't get me wrong. It is cute. I love Pikachu. I had a few Pikachu memorabilia back in the day. My stupid bank was giving me issues.
Mm-hmm.
And then they made me go and put in my social security to change my password. Finally got into it. Because Bank of the West changed their name to BMO.
Oh, they did. Oh, okay. I had heard somebody, I think, over on Mayo stream earlier saying something. Oh, I think it was Beetle Babe who was saying something about she was on with her bank because I was reading the chat room.
Yeah.
And she was on the phone with the bank having problems with them too. So, but I've heard it in multiple streams. People were saying they were on the phone with the bank.
I changed the password and I screenshot it so I remember the password.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can show password, and I was like, yeah, I finally got in because I bought some shirts today.
So going back to this thing that Walrus Gumboot said, Paulina, what is your thoughts on the Dolly Parton version of Let It Be, featuring Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, Mick Fleetwood, and Peter Frampton? So
I still haven't listened to it. I'm afraid to. I haven't listened to it.
With that lineup, it sounds like it's going to be pretty good, though. But how are you going to put Mick Fleetwood and Ringo Starr in there? Come on now. Ringo Starr, we got to put Ringo Starr on the drums.
Mm-hmm.
And Peter Frampton, come on now. He's an honorary Beatle after Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts
Club Band. Maybe I have to mute myself and listen to it. So I'm
like, you put Peter Frampton in a room with Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr?
Come on, man. He's Billy Shears.
How did that go?
Okay, Wallace Gumboot.
He's Billy Shears. Respect. Billy Shears.
Wallace Gumboot, I'm going to listen to it on mute.
What the fuck was that all about with that movie? Billy Shears?
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall if they were in the studio together. That would have been funny. Yeah. Probably like, so Peter, what was that shit then? What was that shit then?
You and the
and Ringo. What kind of shit was that then? Really? And then you Ringo. Oh, I thought it was quite good. Shut up, Ringo. It was horrible.
I thought it was a good movie, but then again, I was stoned back then, so anything looked well.
I thought it was great.
Hopefully, I needed to drink some more so that I could forget that.
Like on his Instagram, he has like a bunch of these freaking videos where he's like, just to the camera going, it's like, okay, Ringo, go home, you're drunk. Lisa's listening to it. Are you listening to it on the down low? Walrus said it is extremely good.
I'll have to give it a listen to tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't listened to it yet. I wouldn't play it on here because I'm pretty sure it would freaking get me shut down order. But I'm assuming with Mick Fleetwood, Ringo Starr, Paul McCartney, Peter Frampton, it's got to be pretty good. It's got to be good.
Yeah,
they'll sound like all competent people, DJ Trish says, I have never tried pot, never will. I'm assuming that's never tried. Me neither. Just kidding. No. I don't do it anymore.
I never tried it either, so don't worry. And that's the truth. I never did any drugs. So.
Oh, look at Lisa finally bought a Smiths album.
She's like, take me out tonight. I want to see people and I want to see light. Driving in your car. I never want to go. Good night, Royce.
Good night. Good night, Royce. Lisa's probably just listening in one direction.
Yeah. It's like, Lisa, why don't you listen to my music?
She's doing her interpretive dance where she goes,
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
come on, Lisa. I thought you knew Tai Chi. Come on now.
She's probably listening to Kiss, Kiss, Kiss.
So kiss me, love. Oink. Oh, she's got her headphones off so she can't hear us.
Yeah.
Did she mute her mic? She's like just really having a good time. Look at her. Okay, the next time, Lisa, I'm just not even gonna send you a link. If you could do this all night, you could just like go hang out with yourself and have a ball.
What are you singing?
She's all okay. She's gonna give us her review now. I guess she's gonna come back on and be like, "I give it a thumbs up." What'd you think? She's gonna be like, "I give it a thumbs up." Thumbs up.
It is electric watermelon approved.
Electric watermelon approved. There you go. Even Craig Man's like, "What is she doing there?" He's having a ball with it too. Okay, Lisa.
How are you?
That was not bad, actually. That was not bad. You know, you had some guitar solos, I believe, from either Peter Frampton or Mick Fleetwood on there. It was not bad. You can listen to it, Pauline. It's not bad.
Hey, what's up, Nick? He said, "Evening, everyone." Is Lisa on a different stream? Yeah, she was.
No, I was playing this on mute. I was playing Let It Be by Dolly Parton on mute.
She was on a whole different stream.
But you know what, Paulina? It's not bad. Her vocals are great. I think she kind of had a little country twang to it. She had a little country twang to it. But you know, because Dolly Parton got entered into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right? And she said, "I'm not rock and roll." And so in response to that, she's making a rock and roll album.
You know what, though? I mean, you got to give the woman credit. At least she acknowledges that. Yeah. You know, because there's a lot of people that would have just took the award and not even acknowledged it, you know, but she's straight up said, "But I'm not rock and roll," because I'm pretty sure she's heard the controversy over time where everybody turns around and says, "Oh, that person isn't rock," or "That person is this," or that. So that's probably the reason why she's like, "I'll take it, but, you know, I'm not rock." So I guess maybe that this is, but she's Dolly Parton, man. She could do no wrong. Hello.
You know, Dolly Parton's amazing, man.
Or like that.
Mm-hmm.
It would be like, yeah. We're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, yo. We're like in it. We're like movie and gravy.
Dolly Parton's amazing.
We're not fucking rock and roll.
Dolly Parton's amazing. You know,
we're
she has her own theme park.
About this, motherfucker.
You know, people rag on her, but Dolly Parton has her own theme park, Dollywood. She has that in, I think it's Tennessee, and then she has a line of baking things in the stores. If you go to the store, you can buy Dolly Parton baking mixes. So she's tapping every avenue. Good for Dolly Parton.
I mean, when it comes out, I'm definitely going to buy it. I'm definitely going to go. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and buy it, most definitely.
No, but the Let It Be sounded great. I love the guitar solo from either it was Peter Frampton or Mick Fleetwood. It was nice. The vocals sounded really good. I think, you know, Dolly Parton, if she wants to do a rock album, damn, I will buy it, because Dolly Parton, whatever she puts her hands on, it becomes good, because Dolly Parton has been doing this for many, many years. Yeah. The woman's a living legend. Nobody hates Dolly Parton. Nobody. If you hate Dolly Parton, get out of the stream. Get out of the stream. Get out of the stream.
Okay, Lisa, you know your meds, please.
Oh, I got him.
She gets like that. She gets like what she does. She gets like one of those things where she's kind of like, she puts her foot down. And if you don't like it, you can get out. If you don't like it, I was like, Lisa, it's not that serious now. I'm like,
well, you know, I'm defending the queen of country, man.
I know, but you get a little bit too, you know, riled up there.
I get a little too enthusiastic. Okay.
Do you need a cookie and some milk?
No, I got my anxiety meds. I don't think that's gonna help.
Oh, Well, you just got like a total serious look on your face. She's like, I got my anxiety meds. I don't think that's going to help. It's like you could almost hear like the poop falling into her Cheerios. Bloop. It's like somebody pooped in your Cheerios.
I mean, I cleaned up after Cookie, so she left.
Oh, so Cookie did poop in the room. That's what we were not privy to.
No, she did. She did. Number one.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not bad. You still had Scott Towel on the floor. So
no, she poops in the hallway. That's what she does.
So I guess Nirvana's going to go ahead and they're going to continue making the commemorative albums. They're going to do the 30th anniversary of In Utero multi-format. So looks like a box that's coming out of it. Says Nirvana commemorate 30th anniversary of In Utero with multi-format reissues, which means that they're going to go ahead and they're going to give us the album, the outtakes, and 2 or 3 live shows.
Who has the rights to Nirvana's music and it coming out? Is it his daughter?
I think his daughter has now. Now, I remember there was a big old controversy because Courtney Love, of course, had control of everything. And she wasn't giving the other 2 guys, she wasn't giving Chris Novoselic or
Dave
Grohl their piece. And that now that Frances Bean has it, she went back to court and gave everybody their pieces back. If I'm understanding correctly. You know, I think that's the way it went. Yeah, Frances Bean.
I think she's now on good terms with Grohl. Because before she wasn't, but I don't think they're like, ever going to be like best friends. But I think she's on good enough terms where she realizes that, got to give the credit where credit's due. Chris Novoselic and David Grohl deserve the credit.
Courtney Love is still fucking nuttier than a fucking squirrel turd, though.
She is.
I mean, she's fucking off her rocker. She has done so much damage to her psyche and to her brain that even completely sober, she's still gonna be. I'm gonna say something
controversial. I'm gonna say something controversial. She killed Kurt Cobain.
That's one of those things that we do believe, but we don't say it in public, Lisa. Shh, we don't say that in public.
I said it.
No, I do. I believe she had something to do with it. I mean, it's like, a lot of people are going to say, well, El Duce. I keep on going back to the El Duce thing.
Yeah.
Is they keep on saying, oh, well, he was a drunk, he was alcoholic, and he was a fucking pig, and he was this, he was that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you know what? That guy took multiple lie detector tests and passed every one of them.
Yeah.
And he just, like you said, he's all, I don't have nothing to fucking gain. No. He's all, she fucking turned around and told me she was going to give me money to do it. He's all, and like you said in the documentary, Kurt and Courtney's all, I didn't think she was fucking serious. He's all, I'll give you 50 grand and blow his fucking head off, make it look like a suicide. And he's all, I didn't think she was fucking serious. He's all, but then like he turned around and he said, he's all, but I know who did do it. And then when he ends up fucking letting the name slip, like they said, next day he was fucking dead. They found him by the railroad tracks, Yeah. Railroad tracks that he had walked up and down, for decades, drunk. He would walk up and down these railroad tracks, and just all of a sudden, after he does that interview, then he gets hit by a train.
It's just weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's just weird how he died. Because yeah.
Well, I Walrus, I mean, it's like, there's an argument for both sides that he did do it and he didn't do it. I mean, it's like every time you take 4 steps forward, believing that she had something to do with it, then they'll end up producing something that ends up making you go take 2 steps back and go, okay, maybe not. And then they bring something else out and you're like, oh, boop, 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 and 3 steps forward, and then they bring out something and you're like, oh, 1 step back. So it's like, I don't think we're ever really going to know.
No,
we're never really going to know. It's like,
and everything about this whole thing is that Kurt Cobain dies, but then the day later, Kristen Pratt dies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
The common thing about both of them, Courtney Love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
it's just weird because when you think about like suspicious deaths, like they always said that Bob Marley's death was kind of suspicious. That they thought the CIA or the feds had something to do with his death, but I think he died of cancer.
I think he just died of cancer. He was no big threat to the government. I don't think he was a threat to anybody.
No, they shot him. Remember the time when they shot him?
Yeah, but that was some extreme person who was being a nut.
Yeah.
Who was
But
against his
the thing that happened to him was that I think he was playing soccer or something, and then he stubbed his foot, and then he ended up getting some type of gangrene in his foot.
Yeah, he stubbed his foot because they had it was like a gold thumbtack or something that was in the shoe, or something was in the shoe, and he stubbed his foot. And what happened was he went to the doctor, and the doctor said to him, "Hey, we can cure your cancer if you just remove your toe. Your cancer will be gone." And he said, "No, for religious reasons, I won't do it."
That he wasn't going to have a piece of his body taken.
And then about 1980, he started getting like back pain or pain in his back, and he collapsed, and they found out his cancer had progressed to stage 4. So by that time, it was far gone. So he tried to do the homeopathic method. He went to Germany and paid some guy to give him all this like natural stuff. But yeah, by then he was far gone. I watched a lot of Bob Marley documentaries. I'll admit that.
Yeah, I remember one time when I actually have a toe now that's stubbed. It's healed up, but I had stubbed my toe really bad. Where the nail had lifted up and like halfway down had broken and whatever, and it turned all kinds of colors. And I remember when I did it, I was like, "Oh my god, ow!" I was, stubbing your toe is painful. And I had told the kid's mom, I was like, I went, "Ow, that's horrible." She's all, "Stop it. Be a freaking man. Be a freaking man." I turned and said, "Hey, that's the way Bob Marley went out, right?" And she's all, "Well, you ain't fucking Bob Marley." She's all, "When you help save the world, then we'll fucking worry about your stubbed toe." But until then.
Really?
Yeah, but she's all, "But until then, just fucking suck it up, all right?"
What Bob Marley had was a rare form of melanoma. But it can happen to anybody. It can happen to anybody. So, I've stubbed my toe before. I've lost, and then it's no fun when you lose your nail bed. You're like, and she's got to understand that pain is bad. You're walking on your foot. That pain is bad. I would not wish that upon anybody, losing your nail.
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts. We said plenty of famous musicians commit suicide. Sad but true. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I understand that part of it too. I do understand that he had like lots of problems with his stomach. He had all those stomach problems where he was in intense pain. The heroin was the only thing that was dulling the pain and stuff like that. So I understand that part. But then again, there was also people that said that he was getting ready to leave her. And they said the note that she had read to the crowd was actually not a suicide note, but it was a note that he was leaving Nirvana, he was taking a break, and he was leaving her. Huh. That's what that actual letter was supposed to be. And that she went ahead and doctored it.
And the thing about Kristen Pratt is she was leaving Hole. Want nothing to do with Hole. She wanted to get out of it. She wanted to get clean, and stuff. So she was actually on her way to her parents' house because she was going to get clean over there, and then she died.
And there are deaths out there, Wallace Gumboot, that are suspicious. That kind of I'm like, did they really commit suicide? Because there's some deaths out there you read about it and you're like, it's kind of suspicious. Like Kurt Cobain's death is definitely kind of suspicious to me, and still it kind of raises eyebrows with me, like how he died. The letter. If you look at the letter was kind. If you look at the letter that Kurt Cobain wrote, there are some things in that letter that make you go, "Huh? Did Kurt Cobain write this, or did he have help with writing it?" There's things we'll never know because he's gone, and Courtney Love's gonna take it to her grave.
We're never gonna know the truth. We'll never know exactly what happened. It will be between them and whatever higher power there is.
Yeah,
we're never gonna know. And it's as simple as that. The Jamaican people don't believe Bob died of natural causes.
Well, the Jamaican people don't believe it, but the thing about it is when Bob Marley died so young, he died at 36, which is fairly young, and melanoma is not really common among African American people. It's more common among white people with fair skin. But Bob Marley is half white. Now
was he?
Yeah, Bob Marley is African American and white. His dad.
I did not know that.
Yeah, his dad was about 50 years old, I think, when he met Bob Marley's mom.
Uh-huh.
About 50, yeah. Bob
So
Marley's mom had a
basically,
thing for the older people.
he was the first version of Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah. Well, Lenny Kravitz, that song, Are You Gonna Go? That song that he does, I don't know the name of it, but it goes, do, 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 do. I love that song. Do, 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 do. I can't even remember the name of the song, but it's great. It sounds like something from the 70s. It's
Kurt
by
tried to
Lenny
kill himself
Kravitz.
in Rome 1 month prior. In March, he succeeded in Seattle in April 1994.
Wow. Well, I don't blame him. Courtney Love is a lot to deal with, man. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean,
If I had a
she's
wife
just.
with Courtney Love, I would try to kill myself too.
Yeah.
I mean, she had a reputation that she was just a harpy. I mean, the thing is that, like, that documentary, Kurt and Courtney.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I forgot what the name of the documentarian who made it was. His name is Nick something. I forgot what it was. He made the same one. He made documentaries also about Eileen Wuornos and a couple of other subjects and stuff like that. And he is considered reputable, you know. He is considered reputable. And I mean, there was also at the end of Kurt and Courtney, he does this thing where she's doing an NAACP lunch.
Yeah.
You know. And at the end of the NAACP lunch, he turns around and he calls her out. He wasn't invited or anything, but he turns around and he calls out the NAACP for having her up there because there was all kinds of tapes of her threatening a journalist from Vanity Fair. But the thing is, he's attacking Courtney for it, but on those tapes, Kurt Cobain was on there too, threatening her.
Yeah.
You know, saying, you know, I guess I could just, you know, in a lot of ways, Kurt Cobain was a fucking punk too. You know, he was threatening these, you know, if anything comes out that hurts my wife and this and that, you know, I guess I could just throw a couple of $100 around, just have you killed or stuffed or whatever. You know, so, I mean, Kurt Cobain, he was a jackass too. You know, he was a jackass too. So it's like, you know, everybody's just like, oh, Kurt Cobain the saint. Kurt Cobain was an ass too. You know, and him and Courtney were just, I just think they were horrible for each other.
Yeah, they were.
Period. You know, they were just horrible.
The person I would love to have seen Kurt Cobain get with was Kathleen Hanna, Bikini Kill. As a matter of fact, they knew each other before Kurt knew Courtney. And people actually don't know about this unless you've seen the punk singer, is that Kurt Cobain actually came from the Riot Girl scene in a way, because he was like very, very into feminism and stuff like that Kathleen Hanna was doing and stuff with Bikini Kill and stuff. So, you know, as a matter of fact, the song "Smells Like Teen Spirit," Kathleen Hanna came up with that title because these two write notes to each other and put it like on the wall, like, you know, spray paint.
Yeah, I had read that.
And then Anna put a thing on there that says, Kurt smells like Teen Spirit. And he saw that. He was like, I like that. I'm going to make that into a song. And he did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Vinyl Kicks. You know, Lenny Kravitz is I think
Oh, no. Lenny Kravitz is very talented, too.
he's very talented. I mean, I like what Bob Marley does. He did solo-wise. And I like what he did with the Wailers. My favorite Bob Marley song of all time is No Woman, No Cry. There's like a live version of it. It's like about maybe more than 5 minutes. Great. But Lenny Kravitz is talented. Come on, Vinyl.
Yeah, I think that Lenny Kravitz is talented. I definitely do think he's talented. I mean, I do kind of agree with the thing that, like, Bob Marley was way more talented, though.
Well,
you
yeah,
know, but I mean, yeah,
that we
but
can agree on.
Mhm.
That we can agree on.
The way that I will measure that is if someone will play me a recording where Bob Marley played all of the instruments on the recording, then I could say that. But Lenny Kravitz was doing the same thing that McCartney was doing, and that is on a lot of his records, he was playing all the instruments. You've seen a band behind him in the music videos, but actually look at the credits of the recordings. All the instruments are played by Lenny Kravitz. And so that takes like a lot of talent to do. And I don't think Bob Marley has ever
Well,
Gunny,
Bob
where
Marley, no,
he
he
played
hasn't.
the instruments. And
But
people try to make the argument that, well, the technology wasn't there. Bullshit.
Hmm.
The technology was there because Bob Marley didn't come to fruition until 1972, 1973.
yeah,
And about 2 or 3 years prior, Paul McCartney was making recordings where he was playing all the instruments, like the demo for Come and Get It, the entire McCartney album. So
Hmm.
Paul McCartney could have, if he was
well,
so very
yeah.
talented, he could have made like a recording where
Well, yeah.
he did
I
all
just
the instruments.
I feel like when it comes to music, I feel like I resonate more with Bob Marley's lyrics. I love a lot of his songs. I feel like you know, they're both talented in their own ways, but I kind of more of a Bob Marley fan than I am a Lenny Kravitz fan because I grew up with Bob Marley. I mean, I did listen to Lenny Kravitz when I was in elementary school because he was, all over the radio, but I just happen to like Bob Marley more. I mean, Exodus is a great album. Bob Marley's Exodus, oh, great album. Great
Yeah, with
album.
Lenny Kravitz, I think with Lenny Kravitz, I maybe own like a couple of his CDs. He's like not one of those artists that's like really, really high on my radar. It's like I think I have like a greatest hits, and I think I have like Circus and maybe one other, so maybe like two or three.
Yeah.
Know.
That's what I
Um,
feel like, Hicks.
To get it
Mhm.
in my collection, I just adore the stuff
Mhm.
that Kravitz does. There's
Yeah.
a lot of things that he does that I'm just like, I wish I could come up with something like
I
that.
feel like,
You know.
you're somewhat right, DJ Trish, but I feel like with Bob Marley, the message of
That's
his
true,
songs
Nick.
convey
That's true.
more.
And marry Adam Horowitz.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Yep.
they make a cute couple. They make a really cute couple. I seen that documentary, and they're just like so lovey-dovey with each other. It's beautiful.
Yeah, they're actually I think the second apartment they had in Los Angeles is isn't that where the Smells Like Teen Spirit quote, she wrote it on the wall? I think it was like the second apartment.
It was an apartment that they had in Olympia, Washington.
Was it
Yeah.
Olympia, Washington? Okay, because I was going by the stuff that Scott on Tape has done, because he's done like a whole series of Kurt Cobain stuff where he's visited all the houses and stuff like that. Like he visited the one house that's up in the Hollywood Hills. There's like an Oriental style house that him and Courtney had up in the hills, which they're tearing down, by the way.
Oh.
They're tearing down. I guess it had already been scheduled for demolition. The guy who actually bought the house is going to be demolishing it is trying to keep everything under wraps with the demolition because he's afraid that people are going to come and hurt themselves trying to take pieces of it.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But I was kind of like thinking, that was the first thing I thought too when you said it was being, they're going to demolish it. I was like, oh, I'd like to have a piece of it. Let me stick a piece of it in my den. Oh, that was like, from Kurt Cobain's house in LA or whatever,
Yeah.
Because I have stupid shit like that.
In,
Like
Olympia, Washington, where
Yeah.
she had an apartment. I think she shared it with Kurt as well. And I think it was because a friend of Kathleen's, she was a music major, and then while she was leaving off the campus, a guy broke into the apartment and raped her and was going to kill her. And
oh
so
my God.
he didn't feel so safe. So they used to ask Kurt if he could, like, escort them home, and stuff, because they felt safe around Kurt. So Kurt was sort of like, in a way, like a big brother kind of thing for Kathleen and all those girls around that area.
Yeah, because I remember hearing about this one girl. I forgot what her name was. I think her first name was like Mia or something. In Seattle, she was part of the early grunge scene, and I forgot her last name was. But she was walking home from a studio session. I can't remember her name. She was in a punk band or something. It's Mia something. Was it Mia or Zapota or something? Zapota or something. I can't remember the name, but they found her killer. It was a guy that just.
Yeah, Mia Zapata from the Gits. Yeah.
Yeah. Because when you brought up, I just related to that because that happened to her. She was just, going home from a recording session, and this guy just came out of nowhere. They didn't know each other. It was a random attack.
Yeah.
They did not know each other at all.
Does anybody know if there is actually a real trailer for I Am Legend 2 up yet?
You made a second part?
Wait.
Yeah, from what I understand, they made a second part.
So, so does that mean that Will Smith is not going to be smacking anybody in this movie?
They were talking about it over on Joe Mayo's film. He has like he does the movie and film live streams. They were talking about it. They kind of just went over it in passing, but they were talking about how there is an I Am Legend 2. Thing is, like Joe Mayo said, or was it Joe Mayo or was it somebody else who was in the chat said that they would not go see it because of him. They're like, I'm not going to go see anything that has Will Smith in it ever again.
If you think about it, Will Smith was the main character in the first one, so it's kind of like they could write him off like they did Roseanne in the TV show The Connors. They gave her a heart attack.
But all he did was bitch slapped Chris Rock, which truthfully, there's not a person in America that wouldn't want to bitch slap.
But the thing is, it's just it's like there's been a lot of people over time who've wanted to bitch slap a lot of comedians, but you just don't do it.
But Paulina, there's a time and place for that, and the Oscars was just not the place for him to be bitch slapping.
But you know what I sometimes wonder though is I wonder if maybe he thought. In a twisted way, maybe, or whatever. But you know how, like, when you end up having friends, you have your friends that are like your bros and stuff. And sometimes maybe Vinyl Kicks will end up getting this. You end up having bros. Sometimes you feel like you got to straighten your friend out, especially when you're young. Yeah. Be like, you know what? You're being disrespectful. I need to fucking straighten you out. And you guys have a little squabble. And it doesn't mean you guys are really fighting. You hate each other. He's like your brother, but you know what? You're fucking like, I'm straightening him out.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna let you do shit like that to me. And I think maybe that's what happened between him and Will. That's the way Will was thinking. Like, but where he did it, the venue he did it was fucking not the right place to fucking do it.
No, it's not.
And I really think, Chris Rock was like, fuck no, he wasn't, that's not the way he felt about it, and stuff like that. But,
I mean, he paid for his consequences. He can't be in the Oscars for the next 10 years. So.
Yeah, it's like he's not. Yeah, but I'm wondering if he's not going to be able to be on the show. He's not going to be able to be at the ceremonies.
No, he can't.
Can he still be nominated though?
Well, that is a good question. That's a good question because even pre-slap, I thought there were some movies that Will Smith did that were good movies. I liked him in Pursuit of Happiness, where who plays the guy Chris Gardner, and his son plays the little son of his. But after the slap, I'm kind of like, I don't really care to see another movie by Will Smith anymore.
I do. I love Will Smith. I like him.
I like him.
I don't think there's ever been a Chris Rock movie that I didn't like. Even the movies that people think are a little bit campy, he still made them good. As a matter of fact, there's something about Men in Black 3 that I feel was very, very good.
I like Men in Black 1. I like Men in Black 2.
There's a scene where he realized that the reason why Kay doesn't talk to him all that much is because Kay, that his father sacrificed his life so that Kay could live. And so when he realizes that, he realized that's why. So
I wish
every movie that he's done, I never. There's yet to be a movie where I'm like, this is fucking shit. I'm never gonna see.
No, I mean he was great in the movie that he won an Oscar for, which is King Richard. King Richard is based off the story of the Serena Williams sisters and growing up in Compton and how their dad tried to get them to be, playing tennis at a professional level. It wasn't easy for them because they're from Compton. And people really didn't take them seriously. So he played the role really well of Serena. Dad,
of their father. Well, the thing is that
he's great at what he does.
Just because he made that horrible mistake, just because he made a really bad mistake, does not take away the fact that he's talented. Doesn't take his talent away. Doesn't take his resume of film away. His filmography and the great things he's done. But
there's one movie I don't really care for that he did, and that's Aladdin.
Hold on a moment, I'll be right back.
I didn't really care for Aladdin too much. him as the genie in Aladdin. But I like Pursuit of Happiness. I love the Men in Black movies. I love I Am Legend. He did AI. I believe he did AI. He also did the one with Martin Lawrence, those cop movies. And I'm thinking what else Will Smith was in.
Independence Day.
Oh yeah, that's the first. That's the first. You know, my sister, when she was 11 years old, she bought "Getting Jiggy with It" on CD because she loved that song, and she would play that every day. And I one time threw that CD in the
Yes,
trash can.
Ali.
I threw that CD in the trash can.
There's not been a good one.
I love I, Robot. I, Robot's
iRobot's great.
I completely agree. There has not been a good Disney remake.
No.
I haven't liked any of them.
I've seen all of them. I've seen all of them. No.
And I remember when I was talking with my friends, we were out to dinner, and we were talking about The Little Mermaid, and I was talking about how horrible I thought it was, and blah blah blah. And they were like, they looked at me kind of like, "Why are you racist?" And I was like, "No, it has nothing to do with the fact that The Little Mermaid was black. She could have been blue for all I care. It doesn't matter to me. It was horrible. I just didn't like the movie. Period. I thought a lot of the graphics were shitty. I thought the acting was shitty. I didn't like Aladdin. I didn't like the remake of Aladdin.
Aladdin is bad.
I wasn't too much for the remake of Beauty and the Beast. I just haven't been. Maybe it's just because I'm old school and I remember the cartoons
because when Aladdin came out in 1994 or 95, that was my childhood, and they go and they remake my childhood in some shitty remake of Aladdin. I was like, no, you don't take my childhood and make it worse.
It's like sadly, cartoons do not translate well when they make it into like a real life movie.
No.
With the exception of the Flintstones. So John Goodman was a great Fred. Rick Moranis was a great Barney, and then Elizabeth Perkins and Rosie O'Donnell. And plus, you can't forget the most important co-stars of that movie, the B-52s.
Now the thing is, the Flintstones, I think it was a cool movie. It's one of those movies that I watch, once in a while, when chewing gum for the brain. But I didn't think it was a horrible movie. But there's a lot of people who would disagree with you on that. There's a lot of people where you mention the movie, be like, it's freaking garbage. Stuff like that. So
it wasn't that bad.
You have
more haters than admirers.
Colin McLaughlin from Twin Peaks in it. Halle Berry. This is like one of Halle Berry's first movies that she was.
Exactly. I heard they were going to remake Bambi, and I was like, what the hell? Are you trying to traumatize my childhood even more by remaking Bambi? I was like, the first Bambi was sad enough. Don't remake Bambi, man.
See, there you go. It's like, like Vinyl Kick said, the Flintstones movies were pretty bad, even though I enjoyed them as a kid. They were bad, but they're nostalgic for you now, so you would actually watch them now. And it would make you feel kind of good, even though people would tell you those fucking movies are horrible. You'd be like, yeah, but I like them.
They are near and dear to our heart, Vinyl Kicks 86. But I think that who did a really good job of remaking a kind of a Disney classic is Guillermo del Toro when he did his remake of Pinocchio. I thought that was pretty true to the cartoon itself because you remember the Tom Hanks remake where they had him playing Geppetto. We just forget that exists, okay?
Okay, but are you going to say that you have to think, was it true to the actual book?
No. They left out the part where he became a real boy. I was like, what the heck, Tom Hanks? When I was a kid, I've seen that movie so many times, and the part where he becomes a real boy is like my favorite part of Pinocchio. And in the remake, they just totally were like, we'll gloss over that. Like,
well, maybe, you also have to consider looking at the real book. Like, the real book's probably like almost close to 100 years old, maybe.
Yep,
something like that.
I've read it.
So it's like Disney. You have to remember a lot of those interpretations we saw from Disney were all buttered up. They were all sugar coated and stuff. So even though that's the way we see it, we're like, oh, that's the way we remember it. That's not the way the actual books went.
If you think about it, they're not.
There's websites that are dedicated to tell you, dedicated to stories that Disney has done where they turn around and go, the real ending was, and this was the real dark side of this story, and blah, 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 blah. And they tell you what, the way the real book went.
If you think about it, if you think about it, the real ending of Cinderella does not end with Cinderella wearing a glass slipper. It ends with her sister chopping off her feet to try to fit into the shoe. So the real ending of Cinderella is kind of morbid. I've read every fairy tale you can imagine.
Jesus Christ! See, I didn't know that. Jesus Christ!
Yep.
They're basically Grimm fairy tales.
Yeah, Grimm fairy tales are very grim. If you think about it, essentially, Hans Christian Andersen was like the positive fairy tale writer, and Grimm was kind of like lived up to his name. He's Grimm, so he didn't really make Cinderella. Cinderella is not a positive thing.
I'm surprised that that Cinderella has not been remade by M. Night Shyamalan.
Well, I'm surprised that they didn't make a scary version because they've done so many variations of Cinderella. They've done like the last Cinderella they did was with Camila Cabello, where she's like a seamstress and she's making dresses. That was awful. I saw that. It was awful, but I give her credit. She can sing. Havana song that she does.
So I guess what I'm thinking is like with this new Will Smith movie that's coming out, supposedly the I Am Legend 2. You know, I'm going to be on board to go see it. I'm kind of curious how they're going to like run the story because, I mean, it was only one book. It was based on the book I Am Legend, you know, by I think it was Richard Matheson, if I'm not mistaken, which there was no continuation to it. So this is like something they're pulling out of thin air because at the end of it, he was supposed to have died. You know, in every version you see of it, like The Last Man on Earth. You know, the Omega Man, he dies at the end. You know, and I Am Legend, I think they have two different versions. They have one where he lives and one where he dies. Yeah. So there's an alternate ending. So, but what they're trying to do is they're trying to like, you know, trying to omit all of that where there was a way where he did live. So I think that would end up like eliminating the alternative endings and you would only take the ending where it was he lived.
I mean, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy to think that a book that was written in 1954, it can be translated into modern times because there's a lot of books that I've read that were written in the 50s, the 40s, and the 60s, and the 70s, and they have made it into modern movies. So it's kind of interesting to see I Am Legend too. I mean, Will Smith is a great actor in his own rights. And to answer Vinyl Kick's question, Tom Hanks is not very good in Geppetto, but he was really good in Forrest Gump, Streets of Philadelphia, really good in Apollo 13. He's done some really good movies. And, of course, my favorite of his was Big, that movie where he becomes an adult and he's playing the piano at FAO Sport. I love that movie.
Okay, so it says right here that the sequel will take place after its predecessor's alternate ending.
Interesting.
Okay, which was the one where he lived.
So it's where he lived, and also starring with him is Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, I love Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan is a good-looking man. I'll say that. He's a good-looking man.
It's gonna be great to see them in that movie together. I'm a very big fan of Michael B. Jordan too.
I too. I like him. I liked him in Black Panther with the late great Chadwick Boseman. Yeah. I actually have a song from the was it? No, not it was it from not from Black Panther. Never mind. I thought I had a song from Black Panther.
So at the end, does he actually save humanity? I remember.
I haven't read that book in so long because
I have to check that movie out. I haven't checked it out in so long.
Big is a classic. Big is a classic. And what other movie did Tom Hanks do that I really liked? That was
He does save humanity at the end because he was able to finally make an antidote to save everybody from being zombies. So
yeah,
and the girl and the woman and the daughter went off and to the place where they could, you know.
Oh, my dad got so jazzed about my dad recently saw all trilogies of John Wick, and he thought it was the most amazing thing he saw. He's like, Lisa, Keanu is kicking ass in this movie. He's like telling me every 3 seconds. Keanu fought this person. Keanu fought this. He goes, man, Keanu's a good looking man. I was like, Dad, are you having a crush on Keanu?
They're pretty freaking amazing. I mean, the John Wick movies are very fucking entertaining. And I think they're making another one on Netflix or one of the streaming services, which is supposed to go into the it's supposed to go into the creation of the actual hotel.
Ooh.
Where it's like the I guess the base for all of these hitmen and stuff like that. What's it called? The Continental or something like that it's called?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, it's supposed to be like the creation of the Continental or something like that, or how it came
That's
to be.
That's a good movie, Vinyl.
I Am Legend 2 slaps harder.
Fruitville Station is a movie about a guy named Oscar. If you
And all the zombies are gonna look like Chris Rock.
They're all gonna look like Chris Rock, and he's gonna run along slapping all of them, just slapping zombies left and right because no reason.
Yeah.
Keep my wife's name on your
fucking
fucking
mouth. I gotta rewatch that movie again, Kicks, because I know that movie's based off a true story about a guy named Oscar. I think his name was Oscar Grant, I want to believe. And he had gotten beat up by cops at the Fruitville Station in San Francisco or in the Bay Area. So it's based off of a true story.
Area, and it is a true story.
It is a true story. I remember hearing about it in the news. It's he played. I think he should have been nominated for an Oscar for that particular movie.
I've been to the Fruitville Station because I used to.
Did you ever take the BART?
I lived out in Oakland for a bit. Yeah. And so I used to take the BART.
The BART, the good old BART. I took it when I went to San Francisco, the BART.
In my opinion, going back to the Will Smith thing, I really, really, really think that Will Smith needs to get away from Jada Pinkett Smith. Let's dive a little bit more into his personal life. I mean,
they have an open relationship.
But I don't really think it was so much his choice as it was hers. Because she's a narcissistic piece of shit. Let's be honest. She's fucking a horrible person, I think. Yeah. I watched that whole the Red Table Talk.
Yeah, I watched
that she had with him when she was talking about her entanglement and all that shit and stuff like that. And she just basically sat there and drug him through the dirt. The man was in pain. You could see it in his face.
She cheated on him. She cheated on him with that. What's that guy's name? She said at first, "Oh, I did not cheat on Will Smith." And this guy had came forward and said, I had an affair with Jada Pinkett Smith.
Final kicks off. Dusty's venting about Jada. She's horrible though. I don't like her. She's such a narcissist. I don't like her.
I don't even care about that movie that she did with Tupac called Poetic Justice. I don't even care about that movie. I think she was in that movie.
Do you know that she still carries a little bit of an obsession about Tupac, even though he's dead? That Willow Smith had written a letter to Tupac years after his death. Willow wrote a letter can you please come back so my mommy can be happy?
If you've read the Tupac, there's a Tupac book that they wrote, right? There's a Tupac poetry book. And in the poetry book, he wrote a poem called For Jada. Because at the time, they were in a relationship together. So there's this book that came out. You can look it up on Amazon. It's Amazon. It's all of Tupac's poetries that he wrote. And he wrote one for Jada. They were in a relationship for maybe 2 years.
Yeah, but then but they were saying by the time that Tupac had died, he was already done with her. He didn't fuck with her anymore.
No, Jada's crazy.
Yeah, and they were saying that if Tupac had lived, even today, he wouldn't be fucking with her.
No.
Because even Tupac knew what she was.
We still don't know who killed Tupac. We still don't know who killed Tupac.
Oh, we ain't going to go down that rabbit hole, man, because we'll be here all fucking night. But I'm just going to tell you something. It's he knew, he was street smart. He knew he came across women like her before.
Yeah.
So like that. It's but Will Smith must have thought that he really had something there. But, the thing is that Will Smith is 2023 and he's still fucking competing with Tupac's ghost. A man who didn't give a shit about her anyway at the end.
Yeah.
he didn't give a fuck about her.
I'm surprised they're still married. I'm surprised they're still married because Jada, I've watched those Red Talks that Jada has done and she's kind of a witch.
Yeah, I think the thing is that she just doesn't respect Will Smith at all because what? But it's Will Smith's fault because I don't think Will Smith has ever put his balls down either. You know, because he hasn't put his balls down or put his foot down. You know, there's one thing. It's like, okay, like I had a talk with one of with someone younger today. You know, I was talking to someone younger, and they were saying they're having this problem with, you know, their girlfriend. They're having this problem with the girlfriend's parents, and this and that. I said, listen, here's what you need to do. And I take it from this movie that I saw called The Gambler with Marky Mark, where John Goodman turns around and says, you need to get yourself in a position of fuck you. Where basically you make your own money, you build your own shit. So when anybody tries to tell you anything, you can turn around and tell them straight to the face, fuck you. You know, because you make your own money, you pay for your own shit. So basically, I think that's Will Smith is in a very big bubble of fuck you. You know, he's got his own money, his own everything. And I think he just never stood up to her and was like, you know what, fuck you. You do that shit, I'm going to fucking divorce you. You know, get the fuck out of my mansion. You know, I don't think he ever put his balls down and like stood his ground. And that's the reason why she just walked all over him. And now we have what we have with him, you know?
He's clearly making more money than her. He's been doing more acting gigs than she has. I mean, what's the last movie that Jada was in? And did you hear that Jada's going to play Rapunzel?
No, I didn't know that. Now, I didn't know that Will cheated on her a lot. I mean, I've never heard anything about the cheating from him. So maybe I'm being ignorant, you know, because I've never heard of that. I've just heard about her indiscretions, which have been broadcast everywhere.
No, they have made it known that they cheated on each other. Will has mentioned in the past that he's cheated on Jada, and Jada's cheated on him, and they decided to at one point have an open relationship. But Will was not faithful to her, nor was Jada faithful to Will. They both were toxic for each other, but they're still together for what reason? Jaden's a grown ass kid. Mm-hmm. He's 25. Mm-hmm. Willow's 23. It's like, what are you staying together for? Willow and Jaden are adults. They don't need you to stay together.
Yeah, I mean, the whole family's weird. The whole family, let's be honest, the whole family's weird. You know, the whole family's just kind of...
Although there was a moment when I was digging that one Willow song where she was singing about finding a spot or something. Caught a vibe. Yeah.
Look at Lisa laying down the real.
I'm just saying, Jaden had a moment where he was wearing dresses. We know that. He had a moment. And one time I went into Amoeba. I saw his album for $100 on the Amoeba wall. And I was like, really? Jaden's worth $100? It was his Sire album.
You're in what fucking universe?
Well, somebody bought it because the last time I went to Amoeba it wasn't there. So somebody actually bought it.
They probably bought it before they bought a Smiths album, something like that. Probably.
I was waiting for that.
I will buy a Smiths album and it will shut Dusty up for the rest of 2023.
Probably not. Probably not because I mean,
find something else. He'll find something else to like say. Oh, Lisa bought this album.
The damage has been done.
Give me props. I have a White Stripes album in my collection, so I am not 100% bad when it comes to music.
Yeah, but it's like apples and oranges. It's like, you know.
Yeah,
I also have King Crimson in my collection. Does that give me some street cred?
Apples and oranges again.
How about, let's see what else we got here. Give me some street cred. I have Beatles.
Nice. Again. Okay. Do you have any Cure?
No.
Do you have any Depeche Mode?
Yes, 2 albums. 3 albums, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I have one. Yes, I have one New Order, and I have Pet Shop Boys.
Not bad.
I have Haircut 100, and we're going to talk about 80s bands.
Walrus Gumboot has a question though. He wants to know which White Stripes, Lisa.
It's Elephant. I believe it's Elephant that I have.
Ah.
Let me see.
Final Kick said Jada's music is actually really popular with all these weirdos these days.
Right?
It is. Especially those weirdos that would end up going to freaking Amoeba and pay $100 for it.
Yeah.
Obviously.
There we. Okay. Let me. This one. This is the one I have.
That's Elephant. Very good album. Actually, all their albums are very good in my opinion. But yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness! Tomorrow I got to go to the dentist. I'm not looking forward to that.
Ooh.
Well, I have a calcium deficiency in my teeth. I've had a calcium deficiency for years, and it's now that I'm 50, it's like I'm starting to get like, weird cavities and shit. So I need a lot of work done. It's going to be done over time. Now, one of the things that they wanted to do is I still have almost all my teeth, but I've lost a couple in the back.
Yeah.
And at first they were going, okay, well, let's do partials. And they said, okay, well, let's do veneers. And let's do that. It's like they're going through all kinds of different stuff they want to do. And then they're saying there's a couple of teeth that have, like I have one that needs a really bad root canal. But they're going, well, would a root canal save it? Or should we just take it out? And I'm like, you're not taking one of these front ones out. I'm like, no way. I'm like, do what you can to save it. And they said, well, that's where the veneers would come in and blah, blah, blah. It's just, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not looking for it.
Welcome to my world.
I'm going to be putting that fucking dude's kid through college. I know it.
Yeah, I need to call my dentist tomorrow, see if I got approved for the crown. Because I did get the root canal done.
Mm-hmm.
And fuck that.
Yeah, when I got approved for the crown, I was happy because I had a crown last year. When I got approved for it, I was very happy because I have Medicare. So
yeah, I know. Because first it's like with me, it's like with my dental plan at work, it's like first you get the root canal, and then they get into making you wait even longer. Then you get it's like it's just such a fucking process.
Yeah.
And then they turned around and they said, well, we give you all new teeth, because they were saying that there was a couple of teeth down here are bad. And I was like, I don't think I have that many bad teeth where I would need to have like all my teeth replaced. And they were like trying to tell me, well, a lot of people your age are starting to go into their like late 50s and early 60s are starting to have all their teeth replaced. And I was like, you know how much pain that is to have everything taken out and then have all the bolts put in?
Yeah.
Because first of all, they have to take all the teeth out and then you have to heal. So you don't have anything. So I'd be walking around here and I'd be like Dusty Gummy. Hey, welcome everybody, Dusty Pig channel. That's for one thing. That ain't fucking gonna happen. Yeah. And then they got to put all the bolts in. So then I have like all the pain that I have to go through after the shit's put in. I'd be like, oh, sitting here, painful gums. And then they would put all the teeth in. And then when they put the teeth in, I'd come on here and I have all perfect teeth, all perfectly white. And people would be like, what the fuck happened?
You look like one of those guys that live in Beverly Hills.
Mm-hmm. So I was like,
hi everybody, welcome back to the thing.
So hi, welcome. Yeah, but I was just like, I tell them like I have a couple of teeth here that has like some bad cavities. It's like, let's go ahead and repair those. If you think I need veneers to make everything look natural, everything look nice, that's fine. See what we can do about the gap, because I have the gap that I've had, years, my whole life. So Kick said, Dusty Gummy. Well, dental problems suck. Yeah, it sucks, especially now that I'm older. It's like I'm starting to realize, like, oh, I should have took better care of my teeth. Because I had that calcium deficiency. I knew it, that I had it, and now it's finally started to affect my teeth. I've been lucky. I haven't had any broken bones though or anything though.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it did affect my teeth. It's almost like the same thing like the kid's mother had. She had a calcium deficiency when she had the kids, because the kids took all her calcium. And her teeth went bad. Like she had the procedure done where they took everything out, put the bolts in, her teeth permanent. And I thought it was freaking, well, I thought I was being funny because how I am and shit. Yeah. There was this character in The Land Before Time who was called Chomper. Do you guys remember him?
Yep.
He had those big teeth.
Yep.
When she came home after they put those teeth in, that's what she looked like. I kept on calling her Chomper, and she would get so pissed off. Because, I was used to her teeth. Like, she had a couple that were broken, She kind of had the teeth like, one of our friends that used to be on this channel that we know of, she had, it was looking bad. And everything taken out, everything brand new. And she came in, it was like, ding, perfect teeth. I was like, goddamn, Chomper. No, Chomper, no, Chompy. Damn. I'm Hoffer. Don't do the root canal. I have had a few root canals. We saved teeth these days, said the dentist. Every single one has eventually failed. They get pulled after spending $1,500 on average per tooth. Exactly.
I have crowns, so I'm part of the royalty family.
Said my mom had bad teeth. She had to get them all pulled. She said they popped in the dentures the same day. Yeah, it's like, because they got to shape it and everything else and stuff like that. And That's just, it's the thing that's unfortunate is I think it's just something I got from my mother because my mother had the same problem. It's like no matter how much you brush, no matter how much we floss, she had told me when I was younger I was going to have bad teeth. She's like, it just runs in our family. My grandmother had it, I had it, and stuff. But because I was always very anal about my teeth, very anal about my teeth. Because my mother had always like raised me with this whole thing where she's like, there's two things that you really got to take care of. You take care of your teeth and your hair, teeth in your hair, teeth in your hair. That's your crown. That's your So, but yeah, but you know how it is. But I remember when Lisa had her chipped tooth and she was doing the whole Dumb and Dumber thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Another
shrimp on the bar before.
No, when I had my chipped tooth, I'm surprised Dusty didn't take a screenshot of that.
I did, but for you, it kind of worked. For you, it was cute. It kind of worked. You got away with it. You were able to pull it off.
No, because everybody was saying I look like Jim Carrey. So at first I was like, you know what? I want to keep my chipped tooth. And my dentist said, no, you can't. Because it does not look cute on you. And I was like, but I'm adorable. I can get away with it.
See, that's the problem that I have actually right now, Hop Frog. Right here, I have a cavity that's right at the gum line on two teeth right here. And stuff. So those are the two teeth that either need to be saved or if they're going to go ahead and take them out, I don't know what they're going to do. But I ain't going to walk around looking like freaking I should own a banjo. So
no, you don't want
to. Good night, Dave.
You don't look like Greedy Gums Murphy.
I don't want people to like turn around and sound me like, oh no, here banjos, Dusty's coming. Row harder. Ding 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 ding.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, but yeah, I always like it's funny because I always make fun of the kid's mother and stuff like that. It's like how I pick on you, Lisa, while I'm on here. Well, just think about she lives with me, so she has to hear it. So she hears all my picking.
Well, yeah,
imagine if you lived with me. You'd be like,
I'm used to it now. It's like it's not anything offensive. I'm used to it.
Like she gets mad because like her family originates from Kentucky.
Yeah.
Her dad's side of the family, they're from Kentucky, whatever the fuck. Yeah. Not her, born raised here. Her dad was, I think, from Kentucky, went to Minnesota to California or whatever. But I always make fun of her family because they're from Kentucky. I overdo it. They're not like they're not like hillbillies. But one time we're watching like Deliverance or we see something with like hillbillies or whatever. I turn around, I tease my kids. I'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's your mom's side of the family right there." Yeah, like I turned around and I was like, like one time we were watching the Waltons. I was like, "Oh yeah," it's like dad's. It's my grandfather. She's like, shut up, stop it.
Yeah, because sometimes in the background I can hear you guys and you guys will be like going at each other. And I'll be like, yeah, that's Dusty and Tina going at each other.
Yeah, like Lionel said, don't want to be walking around looking like Deliverance. It's like, like I have this gap, and a lot of people always said, okay, well, the gap gives you personality. And they say that gap is supposed to be like a sign of high intelligence. I think it's just something people with gap say so they feel comfortable with their gap.
Who has a gap and probably is never going to fix it is Mac DeMarco.
Speaking of tooth white as age, it's a pretty long, involved story. Walrus, it's like we just kind of like decided to part ways with them. Yeah. We don't talk bad about them. They don't talk bad about us. It's just like, a lot of stuff went down. So we just decided it was better that way. Stuff like that. Nothing really, really big. Nothing really, really horrible. But it's,
Yeah.
It's just best. Take care, Hop. Freaking final. Those dudes are suckers. Well, no, I wouldn't go that far. But, it's just, we're just not compatible anymore. Like you say about a bad ex-girlfriend, we're just not compatible anymore. It didn't work out.
Sometimes with, some people, you gotta let them go. Like, you gotta let them go free. Like the song Free Bird by Leonard Skinner.
Like someday Lisa won't be here and I'll try to say, well, things just didn't work out. It was like, we decided to part ways and Lisa had to go, because she kept on buying One Direction albums and, she had to go.
You went there. You went there again. Even if I buy a Smiths album, he's gonna always remind me that I bought One Direction over to Smith.
No, I'm going to let it go. I will let it go. If you buy a Smiths album, I will let it go. But the thing is that you keep on telling me over and over again. You keep on telling me, well, if you get me a Smiths album, if you were to buy me a Smiths album, it's like, no, because now, I mean, it'd be very easy for me to correct that and just go ahead and send you a Smiths album. I could correct that. It's not going to freaking kill me. But now I don't want to. I want you to buy the Smiths album.
Oh, now you want me to actually go to Amoeba?
It's a principle thing.
Fine. One day, me and you will be at Amoeba, and I will buy a Smiths album.
If you buy yourself a Smiths album, I will buy you your next Taylor Swift album. Not a problem. I will go that low. But with a Smiths album, now you need to buy it. It's a principle thing.
You heard it. You're going to do something nice for me. That is the nicest thing you've said all day, Dusty.
My credit card's going to fucking probably get rejected. It's going to go, what the fuck? My bank's going to go, no, Taylor Swift, no, this ain't like him.
Dusty, we need Taylor's version, 1989.
It's going to turn around. It's going to be like, oh, it's going to be like, what? He purchased a Taylor Swift. But no, that's not right. The bank's going to be calling me. Excuse me, sir.
Sometimes have to do things we don't like. Think about all the people in the past that you've done things for.
And if it's you, we highly suggest therapy.
Think about it. Think about it. All the people in the past that you've done things for, and you're like, man, I wish I could take it back and not have done things for them.
There you go.
All the concert tickets that I bought for.
Did you almost say what I thought you said, Lisa? Jesus, this is a PG live stream. What are you talking about?
I'm saying
you almost said cog.
No, I'm saying the stuff that I bought for people in the past, like concert tickets. I bought for someone in the past.
I wish we had a rewind in here. I go. Blah, 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 blah. You almost said for all the cob.
Nope.
I'm like, no, Lisa. StreamYard. Oh, man.
I remember all the concerts I went to in the past and the money I've spent on a lot of concerts in the past. Ooh, I went broke.
It costs money. Especially now. Like, I have my friend Jim, who, I mean, he goes to concerts all the time. Yeah. And he's talking about how it's like freaking breaking him. I mean, he's like, he needs to come up on these streams. It's just that he's really busy. But I've been trying to get it because he's a major record collector, really major. I mean, but he's a doctor, so he buys like expensive records and shit. But he goes to like all the big concerts and stuff. And he was like going, man, I'm a freaking doctor and this is killing me. This is killing my nuts to go to these concerts.
I haven't been to a concert this year. And my sister's like, are you okay? You haven't bought a ticket for a concert this year. And I told her, it's just, when you think about the service fee, putting in the actual ticket of the concert, it's like, even if I want to sit in my, nosebleed seats, I'm spending like $100 and something per ticket.
Yeah.
It's kind of, the last concert I went to was Backstreet Boys, which was a year ago with my sister.
Yeah.
And we paid $50 for tickets, which was a great deal. And we got pretty good seats. But it's just nowadays going to concerts, it's just not worth it to spend all that money to see someone for 3 hours when you could see them at home for free. It's just, I don't know. It's expensive. And
it costs way. It's just the price. I mean, there was a time where you would go ahead and say, well, I don't care if I get the greatest seats as long as I'm in the building. That's what I used to tell myself all the time.
Yeah.
As long as I'm there and I'm in the building, and I'd be able to go ahead and spend like, 50, 60, 70 bucks and get myself in the building and be upstairs or whatever and be happy with it. It'd be like, oh yeah, whatever. At least I was there to see it, and stuff, but not now. It's like now you're like talking $300-$400 just to sit up in the nosebleeds.
Yeah,
when one time $300-$400 got you on the floor.
Because it's expensive. The last time I went to the Kia Forum was 2020.
Exactly.
It was January of 2020, right? COVID had not happened, so I went to see this K-pop group on January 2020, and then by March the 13th. They had announced, hey, COVID's happening. So
Mhm.
concerts that I had bought tickets for that year, 2 concerts that I bought tickets for got canceled. BTS, another K-pop group, NCT, had gotten canceled. And so basically, when COVID happened, I kind of took a little break from concerts because I still kind of a little leery about going to
Mhm.
concerts because of COVID.
Yeah.
And people have been getting, COVID at concerts. So I'm kind of like
Mhm.
selective now about what I go to. And I always wear a mask every time I go to a concert. Always wear a mask.
I'm not being a COVID denier or anything like that. And I'm not saying go out and get COVID, but I think the thing is, I think right now, I don't think it, and I should knock on wood because my luck, I'll get it and I'll fucking be knocked out for like a month, but, I'm like thinking, it's like,
Hey, Tim.
should we really be scared? Like, should we really, because I mean, it's like a really bad flu now, I think. So
Nope.
I'm wondering, like, should we really be scared of it? I mean, we should be cautious and wear our masks and stuff like that when we go to like major events like that. But should we really be that terrified?
I am not.
Hey, what's up, Tim?
I am not that terrified because I still go to concerts. But me going to a bunch of concerts like I did in the past
Mm-hmm.
is not a thing anymore for me. Because in the past I used to go to like 5 or 10 concerts a year.
Mm-hmm.
But now me, it's kind of like 2 to 3 concerts a year is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think as you get kind of older and you're realizing, damn, like when I go up the hill to the Hollywood Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, that's a cardio workout right there. Going up that hill, going up to your nosebleed seats.
Yeah.
And, I think for me, it kind of is, I'm selective about what I'm going to nowadays
Uh-huh.
because I love concerts, but when you get older, concerts
Hey,
get
Tim.
kind of tiring.
Hey guys,
When's the last time you've been to a concert, Tim? Real question, legit question.
a
Last time.
real concert?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
a real concert with actual people. You were,
Well, I mean, it was a small bar concert, and I couldn't tell you the date, but it was the night Tom Petty died.
Oh, that's right. Uh-huh.
wow.
And it was at a bar, and only like 100 people showed up or something like that. Probably
Crazy.
Petty dying was part of it. And
Crazy. Yeah.
I'm trying to think what was the last one. I think the last person I saw was Billie Eilish. I haven't gone to any either.
Yeah. The last concert I went to was Backstreet Boys 2021.
Wow, so it's been even longer for you
Wait,
then.
wait, no. I take that back. 2022. 2022.
Okay.
I went June of 2022 because my sister's friend wanted to sell his tickets.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Because I remember you were kind of nervous because when things started, it just barely started to open up again.
Yeah.
And I remember you were kind of nervous about it.
Yeah, and me and my sister were kind of like debating going to some concerts this year, but she has a kid. So we kind of have to, make sure she has a babysitter before we go to concerts. But there's a couple things that are kind of piquing my interest, like that Darker Festival, whatever.
Dark Waves, yeah. Darker Waves.
Because I like Tears for Fear, and I've never seen them live.
That's that show's kind of piquing my interest. New Order, Tears for Fear is going to be a pretty big show out on the water.
But I remember there's been many times when I've seen concerts and they have announced musicians that passed away at the concert, and that's pretty great. Like one of my friends saw Tom Petty. He saw Tom Petty a day before he passed away, I think. Pretty crazy.
A day before he passed away? That's crazy.
His last show was like a month or something before.
Oh yeah, like a month before he passed. Not a day. It was the Hollywood Bowl show, I think, was his last show. But yeah.
Yeah, that was a strange night.
It was.
They had him dead. Radio and everything had him dead a long time before he actually died.
Yeah.
Like I heard he was dead by like 2:00 in the afternoon or something.
Yeah.
And he didn't actually die till like around 11 o'clock or something that night is when he actually finally died.
I don't remember if like Tom Petty had us on in the same situation like with Steve Harwell and some other people where it was like we're kind of like on a death watch where we knew it was coming anytime now.
No.
I don't think Tom Petty was kind of like out of the blue, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It was kind of private for us. I mean, it was.
But they had him dead, and apparently he was in a coma, and he was maybe brain dead, but he wasn't officially pronounced dead until that night.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, like I went into the concert thinking he was dead and walked out of the concert and we're listening to Little Steven's channel because that's what the guy I went with listened to, which is thankful for that. And they were talking about, if you haven't heard, a half an hour ago or something, this is after the concert, it was confirmed that Tom Petty had died now,
Okay.
And I'm like, he just, wow, and I figured the guys on Little Steven's channel would know better than probably.
Yeah. They were, speculating.
He was a DJ on Little Steven's channel. They
speaking of people who've passed, I was watching a video on YouTube, as I usually do, because that's what I do on my lunch. Because I don't like talking to my coworkers. So I was watching a video on YouTube, and they were talking about how Jimmy Buffett had a crustacean named after him. I guess some scientists had found a crustacean, and they say they find like maybe 100 different like sea anemones and stuff like that a year, and that when they end up finding one, they're able to name it. And usually they name it after where the area they found it in, by the island they found it by, blah, blah, whatever. So they called this one the Jimmy Buffett crustacean or something like that. So
they missed an opportunity to name it Barnacle Jimmy. Because
Barnacle Jimmy, there you go.
That would have been a badass name.
But they turned around and said that this is like a couple of months before he died. He was actually able to like find out about it, that he had this crustacean named after him. He was like, when he put it on his like Instagram or something like that, a picture of the crustacean. He's like, nice name.
It goes to show that we didn't know much about Jimmy Buffett's private life because he kept it private. Nobody knew he had cancer, did they? Or did he announce that he had cancer?
Was it a fentanyl? I don't think it was an OD.
Yeah, he OD'd. Tom Petty.
Petty? Okay.
Yeah, Petty OD'd.
Well,
it was,
but it wasn't like. It was an OD of stuff to kill the pain, and it wasn't like he was getting high or something. No. It was he
was just trying to be straight. Is what he was trying to do.
Well, I mean, he had huge chronic back problems, and that was and other things wrong with him, and he didn't let anybody know about any of this stuff.
Where's our friend Charlie Launder to correct me? Last time I said something about Tom Petty, he came in a chat and corrected me. He's like, "No, Lisa, that's not how he died. How dare you disrespect Tom Petty?" And I was like, "Sorry,
his grandfather
Charlie.
was from Newfoundland, Canada."
Yeah.
Charlie, I haven't seen him in a long time. He hasn't been around at all. Usually he would go to, I think, Patrick's. He would go to the Vinyl Archivist, I think, stream. I think when Dave would have streams, Hop Frog, he would show up there.
I remember one time.
Not really too many others. He would show up here once in a while, but.
I remember one time Charlie was on until 5 a.m. with Dave, and Dave wanted to sleep, and Charlie's like, "Nah, man, let's just stay up, man. I got a lot to talk about." And Dave's like, "I gotta sleep, Charlie."
The sun was coming up behind him. I remember Jen had messaged me. Dave's wife had messaged me and stuff. She's like, "Oh, can you get him over here?" And I was like, "I'll try."
They messaged me too, and they were like, "Can you get Charlie to sleep?" And I was like, "I don't think so, but I'll try."
Yeah, because once Charlie's on one, it's like he's on one.
You could be like Doc. Doc doesn't tell anybody when the stream's ended. He just ends it. He just hits the end button, and you're talking away, and all of a sudden you're not live anymore. Right? That's what Doc does.
That's what you should do.
Stream's over.
You know who does that shit is Lisa. Lisa does that too.
Yep.
Yeah, Lisa doesn't give anybody much warning. Like, we'll be talking, and all of a sudden she'll go, "Okay, bye, guys." And she turns it off.
Yep, that's exactly me. No, sometimes nowadays I'll just do like hour streams. Like when the baby's asleep, sometimes I'll do streams and I'll update people what's happening in my world.
It's like, I think that should be put on a t-shirt for you too, Lisa. Hey, guys.
That's
your catchphrase. Hey, guys.
Should I change it? Because I think
that's been since you started. I mean, your videos all the way from the start were like, "Hey, guys."
Because I thought that sounded friendly, like they're my friends. I wanted to sound very
has
friendly.
Their own thing, and they should just stick to it.
Yeah, you've been doing that for years now, Lisa. I mean, you've been around since. Damn, Lisa's a veterana. How long you been around? Since like 2000 and.
I started watching vinyl community videos in 2015.
Okay, and you started your own channel in what, 2016, or what was your serious channel started?
My channel has been around since 2006.
Jesus Christ. She's I was here when Mr. Beast had 10 subs.
You know who's the most subscribed YouTuber? Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast.
So PewDiePie had like 30. I remember I used to promote PewDiePie. Yeah, I remember that.
I remember when
Good old days.
I remember when Smosh were together.
Yeah.
And then they got back together again.
It's like, damn, she's like old school. You should get pretty soon. There's going to be like a freaking Streamy Award for Lisa. It's going to be like lifetime achievement.
I started my channel in May of 2006. It's like a month before. I think it was like YouTube started in 2005. So I started when YouTube first started.
Yeah, I never heard of YouTube then. I don't even know when I started watching YouTube.
I don't remember either.
But I started uploading videos with my face. I think the very first video I did, Dusty's seen it, where I was like, there was a plane going by and I was talking about The Hobbit. That was 2013.
Yeah.
I think I started watching YouTube possibly in, I want to say 2013, 2014, and I think that's when I discovered California Love 84, and then also discovered Joe Mayo.
Now I started watching in 2006 when they had that one girl. What was her name? Nicole something or rather. There was a girl on there, and Smosh, and this guy named Bohemian. Yeah, there's a guy named Bohemian. 2006. You remember Dax Flame? No, you guys don't remember Dax Flame?
I never.
Before my time, Lisa.
How about Jenna Marbles?
I still haven't watched one.
I remember Jenna Marbles.
I remember Jenna Marbles.
Damn it, Sandy.
Before it
became Too Many Dicks.
I watched a couple of their videos, but
But when I watched their videos, their very first video, Damn It, Sandy, he had a lot of views. He had a lot of views with her.
Well, you know, you get. Never mind. I don't even.
I remember.
I think I was bored one day. This is probably about 2011, and I just went on YouTube because I was bored, and I found this guy that kept finding that all he did was show 78s. This was probably the first vinyl video I ever saw. You could go to like garage sales and find 78s for $1, and we're talking Elvis and Bo Diddley and Fats Domino, and he had these stacks of 78s that he found for $1, and I'm just going, oh my god. And that's what started me in the vinyl. I couldn't tell you his name or anything, but that's what started me looking for more vinyl videos. I'm like, is there more of that? Because that just amazed me.
Yeah, I started in 2015 when I discovered Too Many Records. Yeah, he was one of the first channels in Vinylize and Vinyl Rewind.
The first three channels I started with Vinyl Rewind, Vinylize, and Lisa. Those were the first three channels I started watching.
I had Mayo and this guy called Dean, who isn't around. He hasn't been around for a long, long time. And there was a girl too. She was young, but she was cool. She was pretty, but she was cool, and I liked her taste in music. It was modern, but it wasn't.
Hello, Unknown Focus.
And she loved Björk. That was one of her favorites.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
And she was cool, and I liked her. She lived in Portland. I know that. That's all I can remember. She lived in Portland, and
good.
Well, we're good, Unknown Focus. Thank you for asking. Welcome. First time Unknown Focus is here from Twitch.
Yeah, because when I started making videos back in 2016, there wasn't a lot of like women talking about records. I mean, we had DJ Trish, of course. But back then there was just not a lot of people. So 2016, I just was like, okay, I'm going to start a channel. I didn't think anything of it. My very first video was my Beach Boys collection. because I was pretty proud of it because I was building it up. I was going to Amoeba. So I made my very first video, chubby self in the video. I looked like a potato, but I made it.
Like a potato. I remember one of the first videos I saw of yours. I remember that was one of the, I think the thing that I remember the main thing that I noticed about you is when you were streaming, or not streaming, when you were making your videos, but you weren't looking in the camera. And I remember you would be like looking everywhere and stuff like that. And I think that's one of the things that drew me. I was like kind of like going, wait a second, she's not staring at us. You know, she's not staring. You're like, you'd be looking everywhere else, talking and stuff. Not staring at the camera.
I explained to people.
Yeah.
Because I used to get comments about that a lot from guys. Like, it annoys me you don't look at the camera.
Yeah, I didn't see it until like later. I think I went back in your catalog and saw that, you know, that you said you were autistic, and I was like going, oh, okay, that makes sense now.
I don't know the last time I actually saw an actual video that you sat down and made, Lisa. But I remember you last I knew you still didn't look at the camera when you made videos. Yet you do here, which I find very.
I don't know.
And you know what? She graduated too. She is like, look where she's at right now. Before.
Yeah.
She's towards the middle of the screen.
I know.
I just noticed that right now. Hey, Unknown Focus. Yeah, we're actually on multiple platforms, Unknown Focus. We're also on YouTube. So a lot of the people that are commenting, you might not be able to see them because they're not on Twitch, but they are on YouTube. So if you went over to YouTube, if you were so inclined to do so, you would be able to see all the people that are actually chatting. Because we got like 13, 14 people in here right now.
I used to make the content, but then I got kind of discouraged with the way that this community was going. So I kind of was like, I moved my content to TikTok, and I've been doing content on there because I just kind of got discouraged with YouTube and where it was going, and you know, just how the community was going.
Behind Lisa is records, but actually that is a green screen.
Yep.
Well, no, I'm just kidding. It's not a green screen. That's all her One Direction collection. But
that's all my hairstyles.
Different versions of One Direction.
I do also collect books too. I have my small collection in here of books. So I collect books, records, CDs. The last DVD I bought was Moonrise Kingdom. Oh no, wait, it was Sandlot. So I haven't bought DVDs in a while. That was like 2014.
See those records?
Yeah, I've been meaning to. You know, I've been the last time I went to Goodwill, I was like, oh, look at Tim is on the Enterprise now. He's all. I wish I had that sound. It was like. Yeah. The last time I went to Goodwill, I was like looking at the DVDs, and I was like going, you know what? I should start picking up DVDs again, because the last time I picked up a couple of them, I had picked up some that I found out were worth money. I was like going, damn, I didn't know because they were out of print or whatever. But
that's the thing. I look for older movies. By older, I usually mean the 70s or before, because a lot of those aren't in print and you can't stream them. So, you know.
I like the What's in My Bag episodes. Those are great. The Organist from War was on there once. Yeah, I used to really, really like the What's in My Bag, but I think more recently they've had like a lot of artists that are like newer that I really don't know who they are.
Yeah.
So it's like I've kind of been like drifting off.
Yeah, I think they have like a good mixture of new and old artists. I think
it's not necessarily what they bought anymore either. It's just what they find interesting. It used to actually be what they bought, what was in their bag. Now it's just this and this and this. And they didn't buy them. They're just.
I mean, if you want to see a good one, one that I really enjoyed is Rick Astley's "What's in My Bag." That was a pretty good
that was
one.
Pretty good. But you know, really when they started when they were doing the more where they would tell you what they suggested and stuff like that, that started during the pandemic mostly when they were closed. Yeah. So they were still trying to do some kind of a What's in My Bag, but they kind of like kept the format after that. So it was kind of like,
I mean,
it's not, everyone I've seen recently, they didn't buy it. You know, it's just it's become like the Criterion Closet.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot.
It's become that instead of actually What's in My Bag.
I didn't realize it. Oh, I'm sorry. What'd you say, Paulina?
The one that I seen last, I actually enjoyed, and it was an actor, but he also does music too. His name is Matt Berry.
Okay.
He's part of a show called The It Crew. He was on it, but now he's on the show What We Do in the Shadows, and I liked hearing what he had to say about some of the artists that he was finding, because he does music too, and he was like talking about like you gotta listen to this album by Frank Zappa.
Mhm.
He was like a very big Zappa fan, and he was like, I lost my record, so I'm gonna get this. Got to have these songs. And
I mean, there are some good ones.
if you look at this guy named Matt Berry, if you know how he looks, I think if they ever make a movie of Captain Beefheart, he could play Captain Beefheart because he looks like him, in a way. But when he was younger.
Question for Tim. Tim, ever seen a film, Downtown 81?
No, I haven't. I've never even heard of it.
Me neither. Yeah, I haven't heard of it either. Yeah, I remember watching an episode with Peter Murphy from Bauhaus, and he was doing an episode of What's in My Bag, and it was before the pandemic, I think, and it was the old Amoeba, not the new one, the new location. Yeah. And I guess they must have at one time. I did not know this, but they have an upstairs room where they keep a lot of like expensive rare records and stuff, and they took him up there where he was able to go through those crates and stuff like that, and he was like picking out stuff from there.
I mean, they do have some expensive stuff. They do have some expensive stuff now, but in the new Amoeba, it's behind a glass case.
Okay, really but this was a whole room, Lisa. It was like an upstairs room where they had couches and stuff. Like you could tell, like they only brought elite people in there. Like Michael, 45 RPM would probably go in there. I'm just kidding.
I mean, if you think about it, What's in My Bag, the only YouTuber that has done What's in My Bag is Anthony Fantano of the Needle Drop. He's the only YouTuber that has done What's in My Bag. And Matt Kessler had tried to get on What's in My Bag, but they said no.
Anthony Fantano, like, he's starting to bother me now. It's like, the thing I hate about him is that I don't really think he like other people that review albums, they'll end up spending a little time with it. It's like he'll end up listening to it once, maybe twice at most, and then he goes ahead and he tears it apart. It's like other people go like, well, I stayed with it for a month and I visited it, every couple of days and and then they'll write the review. Him, it's like 2 listens, boom, rips it apart.
I mean, when it comes to Anthony Fantano, his personality is a soft 5.
Yeah,
that's what he does. That's what he does.
There's another thing that ARTV does. There's this guy ARTV I watch who usually he is reviewing like newer artists and stuff like that. Is he'll listen to an album and then he'll end up giving it a review or whatever. He'll do the same thing, the same process. He'll live with it for a month, listen to the whole thing. But every so often, maybe like 4 months down the road, or like 5 months down the road, he'll do another episode called "I Got It Wrong," where he'll correct himself and say, "Now that I've spent even way more time with this album, he'll listen to it and turn around and say, I really appreciate this about it or that about it," and he'll correct himself.
ARTV, I don't really watch ARTV either. Vinyl Kicks, not a big fan of his.
Matt from TMR is still to be on What's
No, because he had talked about it. He had talked about it on his live stream.
I totally
damn, Vinyl Kicks ARTV is lame too. He's like,
I like his wife. His wife's channel's pretty cool. I know she's a big Fall Out Boy fan.
Oh, Hannah, she I remember when she first started, we were watching her religiously. My daughter was way into watching her. Yeah. And I guess after she got out of college, she became a graphic designer or whatever, a web designer. Yeah. She completely quit YouTube. And she was like saying that she couldn't do it anymore because of her anxiety and whatever else. But his wife, Hannah, I was noticing the last videos that she made before she actually shut down, or I think she still has her YouTube channel up and she doesn't make any content. She would be high as a fucking kite. I mean, her eyes would be bloodshot red. She'd be like, hi, and stuff. But I guess that was the way that she would like, chill out and be on camera and stuff. Yeah. Because her anxiety was just like getting to her.
Yeah, I totally get it. I have bad anxiety, and I used to watch her channel, but ARTV, there's some parts of him that just annoy me. I'm like,
I don't know who any of these people are.
Oh, you're lucky you don't know him. He's kind of annoying.
They're not really vinyl community. They're like music community type, I guess, where it's like they don't really claim to be like all record collector stuff. They're just like in a music period. They do reviews and stuff. Yeah, it's like they'll like.
Yeah, one time I left a comment on his video and I said, I don't care. It's still there if anybody wants to see it.
On whose video?
ARTV.
Oh, really?
Whereas I collect long boxes.
Okay, Beetle Brad.
Okay, Ken Michaels.
Hey, I'm the one that started the conversation about these. No one was talking about these until I brought it up, and then
I collect Pellegrinos.
I remember the first time you were pulling all those out, and Joe Mayo was watching you pull them out and stuff. And Joe Mayo was kind of like, you could tell when like, but Joe Mayo's trying to use the poker face, you know, where he's trying to act like he's not excited.
Yeah.
You know, to see something, and he was like giving her the poker face, but you can see that single, you know, bead of sweat falling down the side of his head, where he was like,
he's the strangest guy, because like he'll fawn over something like that, right? But yeah, he'll buy.
Yeah.
Oop, Tim froze up.
We can put him. We can have him add him again. Just put another link.
Yeah, well, if it falls out, good. I think he still has a link. But but that was the thing about Joe Mayo. It's like he can be as cool as a cucumber. He can play it cool, like, you know, like he's unimpressed. Yeah. But yeah, I'm sorry. What were you saying, Tim? You kind of froze up, or you froze up?
My internet keeps going out. It's been doing that all day.
Welcome to my world. I have a black screen.
He'll be fussy, like he'll want all of those things, right? Like he'll buy a nice Blu-ray and a box set that comes in a slip sleeve, and he throws that out. And I don't understand the difference.
Don't forget the time when he bought the film.
As long as anything that's part of it, I'm not a collector like Joe, but anything that's part of something, I keep. Like Joe throws all the little download cards away that come in albums. I keep them. They're part of the record. They came in the record. They belong in there. That's my thought on it. I don't understand how you can like some stuff and other stuff. Oh, it's garbage.
I mean, he bought the Yoko box set, right? Didn't he buy a Yoko album?
He bought the box set.
Yeah, he bought the box set. Yeah.
Yeah, Mayo. You can't talk, Mayo. You bought Yoko.
Oh.
Well, you guys, I'm going to go
down. That's why I keep bending over.
Oh no, I was going to say, well, I'm going to go ahead and log off for the night anyway, though.
Yeah.
So I got to get up early in the morning, but we will be back tomorrow. I'll be back at 8:30. Okay. So we'll be back tomorrow night. Sounds cool. Sounds cool. Well, I'll see everybody later. Thanks for being here. Unknown Focus. It was nice to introduce you, Dwayne. Great to see you. Wild Kicks, Trish. The other like 13, 14 people that are in here. I mean, I don't know who else in here still, but you know.
Everybody, the Dust Bunnies, all the people.
All right, I'll see everybody tomorrow night, 8:30. Talk to you guys later. All right.